Hello, everyone. How is it going? Hey, everyone. What's up? What's good? Happy 25th anniversary, Resident Evil. So, I am joined here today with cvxfreak. Say hi.
Hey, good evening. Good good to be here. Thanks,
Yeah,
Carsey, for
good
having
to
me.
be here. So, how's everyone doing? Let's see. Who all do we got? Who all do we got in chat today? We got Regular Voltaire, Revlin, KA5, Conquer This, Wu-Tang Chicken, An Eccentric Meal, Multi-Backing, Sebastian Pixie, Mr. Deku Scrub, Sam Casso 98, Just Deb, Video Game Fan, yeah, Shepexo Ice Phrase, CMM 1215, Masculine Lemon, Shano C16, Bihuna 81, Genome 30, Cole Verdant, Enigma T90, Mad Freds, Isles 487, Killuminati Soldier, CN Card, Colonel Popcorns, Mike Cifuentes, Shark Cookies, Nelly Woe, Project Omega, Shen Evil 444, Van Osdell 2, Audacious Shark, Telerai, Canis Rinval, BC2 Acolyte,
Canis.
Canis Rinval.
Hi, Canis. I love you.
There's some extra. Oh, wait, that's what it is. Okay, I just had to get rid of that. Okay, so yeah, let's see. We got yeah, BC2 Acolyte, Delacross Bill, Uno X, Ace to the Max, Mr. Koala Bear, Claire 20021023, Mysterious DBZGT, Rip Van X, Iceholder, Finvara, Abraxas 1741, Dio Brando 1807, Freed Living 1, Leo K. Rogue, Ambiguous Scoop, Strobe Original, Zulu Man, Beatdown GG, Syad 7, Malo the Hyena, Crimson ATV, Splash Woman, Boardhammer, Jador DK, MJ624, In Silico, Biohazard Kurisu, uh, D Needles, Jesse Does Horror, THS Krembler, Charming King 666, Poodle Doodles, Cjax 86, Mumbles ZZ, Cruder IMO, Lord Chaos Longshot, Dan B, Ona Bum, uh, Big Hat Paul, Mario CV, Mortuos Deambulatio, Akmorang, Daniel XRXR, Longest Dong, Obi-Wan 9094 Kenobi, and Ada Urameshi. Welcome to the stream. His last name pronounced no, it's Alex Aniel. Aniel. That's how, that's how it's pronounced. SP broadcast. How's it going? Ambiguous Scoop. Thank you for the 28 months. Iceholder. Thanks for the 58 months. Monk and Honk. Thanks for the 39 months. Jeff81. Thank you for 17 months. Thank you guys so much for your continued support of the stream. And yeah, so today, as of now, it is currently 12:10 a.m. in Tokyo, where Alex is phoning in from, and today he's going to read to us a chapter from his new book, which is going to be available digitally tomorrow to all backers, called An Itchy, Tasty History of Resident Evil. The chapter that he will be reading today is the chapter based around the development history of Resident Evil 1. It's a very compelling read. This is probably going to take about hour or so. And then after that, we're going to launch into playing, doing a Jill playthrough of Resident Evil 1, Japanese version. And yeah, we'll do some QA during that as well. By the way, we have a giveaway running. I gotta actually like check and make sure that we got the giveaway link. Let me wherever my bot is. Let me try to find it. Uh, Did I? No, that's not right. Sorry. Custom commands. And did I change it? No, I did not. Of course I didn't change the command. All right. Let's see. I'm gonna have to dig into our previous group chat here. See if I can't find the giveaway link. It's probably going to be a bit of a scroll. Sorry. Just give me one moment. I will spam the fuck out of the link in just a moment. How far back? I did this just the other day. Uh, pretty far back. Pretty far back. Okay. No, no. Where's the giveaway link?
Dino Crisis sucks.
I'm sure somebody's bound to. Oh, there it is. Okay, I found it. I found it. Okay, and yep, and save. He sure did say the thing. Uh, block notifications. Jeez. Okay, and exclamation mark giveaway. There we go. So during the stream, we have one of three bundles for you guys of Biohazard 2 and Biohazard 3 for PlayStation 1. Uh, but this stream and this stream only, we're going to run a raffle for the signed copy of Biohazard 1 that you see sitting on Alex's table right there. It is signed by Tokoro Fujiwara, and that is
Shinji
that is that
Mikami.
is that is Shinji Mikami, right? Okay. Just making sure.
Shinji Mikami,
Yeah.
Tokoro Fujiwara. On the inside, the manual is signed by Kazuhiro Aoyama, who was the director of RE3 and was also a one of the planners on the game. And the actual disc itself is signed by two people who worked on the game's soundtrack, Akari Kaida and Ippo Yamada. So this was in my personal collection for a long time, but I thought with the anniversary, it'd be good to get this into the hands of a fan who might really want it. So yeah, it hope it's meaningful to whoever wants to get it.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I am. Yeah, no, that is a giveaway that I am looking forward to. I have to figure out how to set up a raffle sometime while you're sometime while you're doing the reading, but I'll take care of that. Anyway, yeah, so Rob RMM 1976, thanks for the 23 months. And The Witch of Sin, enjoy the free sub on yours truly. So anyway, I guess without any further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the reading then, shall we?
All right, so I guess I'll just talk a little bit about the book before I start reading. I don't have the actual physical book yet because those are manufactured in Europe and I haven't gotten my copy yet. But let's see, I spent about 3 years writing Itchy, Tasty, and Unofficial History of Resident Evil, and I was privileged to speak to many of the developers who were involved in the Resident Evil series for the first 10 or so years. And I want to read the Resident Evil 1 chapter today because it's now March 22nd in Japan. And as of today, the Resident Evil series is officially 25 years old, which is an amazing achievement. You know, not a lot of games do make it that far, you know, in terms of, you know, getting regular releases after that many years. Ask Dino Crisis fans, right? What it's like to celebrate an anniversary this long, and I'm pretty sure they won't have a great answer for you. But yeah, the book is very much focused on the production and development side of things, and it's a bit of a narrative interspersed with quotes from the key players of development. So I guess without further ado, I should just start reading. I'm not a professional narrator or reader or speaker at all. So if this doesn't sound like an eloquent
It
reading, let me know.
as
If I'm speaking too fast,
as far as the way I'm looking at it right now, you were sharing, something that you have passionately written as a fan of the series. This is like your contribution to the community. So just enjoy it.
I'll do my best. Thank you, Carsey. That means a lot. I really hope that people do like this book. The ebook will be submitted or will be sent to backers on March 22nd. I have no idea when specifically it's supposed to drop. I imagine it might be March 22nd in once it's March 22nd in the UK. I think that's the time zone that they use to decide when it's distributed. So it might even be a little earlier for people who are behind UK time.
Yeah.
But anyway,
I mean,
without further ado, I will begin reading this. This has never been publicized before, so I hope that people find this interesting. And if I'm reading too fast or if you miss a passage, just let me know, and I will be happy to go back and read it.
yep.
All
CVX
right?
is CVX is reading chat, so
Yeah, here's my manuscript here.
the manuscript. Fading in music, by the way. Can you hear? It's probably a little quiet for you. A little louder. There we go. All right, yeah, go for it.
Sound good? All right. Let's get the show on the road.
Yep.
All right. Chapter 1: The Origins of Survival Horror. Tokuro Fujiwara and Capcom Action Games. By early 1996, Capcom had an enviable 13-year history of releasing high-quality action games. In an industry with relatively few big-name players, Capcom saw itself as the action game company with its own unique approach to game production. Within gaming and broader pop culture, Capcom was a widely recognized brand. The company had released a number of popular arcade and console games, from Bionic Commando and UN Squadron to Ghosts and Goblins, Mega Man, and Street Fighter II. The company even dabbled in collaborations with Disney for video game adaptations of DuckTales on the NES and Aladdin on the Super NES. All these titles heavily emphasize action and combat. I use the term action as Japanese game developers tend to, referring to the heavy focus on fighting and a lighter focus on exploration. In terms of genre, Street Fighter II is a fighting game, while Mega Man and Ghosts and Goblins are side-scrolling platformers. But what the three have in common is their focus on attacking and defeating opponents. There are design intricacies in Capcom games that make them unique. They're usually very difficult to beat, and even though the action is at the center of the gameplay experience, the protagonists often have limitations that contribute to said difficulty. This contrasts with Nintendo, for example, whose games usually focus more on a deeper exploration experience with fairly well-equipped characters. So how did Capcom become the action game company anyway? Several individuals have been integral to the shaping of Capcom's identity since its establishment as a video game company in 1983. But one person is particularly noteworthy: Tokuro Fujiwara. Hailing from the Kansai region of Japan, Fujiwara graduated from Osaka Designers College in 1982 and initially joined Konami, then located near Osaka, working there for a year as a game planner for an arcade title called Puyan. His stint at Konami would prove short, however, because in 1983, Fujiwara was invited by an acquaintance to join Capcom, another Osaka-based game company. Fujiwara accepted. He joined at the same time as Yoshiki Okamoto, Capcom's other notable creator from this era, and along with three others, the group ended up forming Capcom's first official game development team, sowing the seeds for the brand it was to eventually become. Fujiwara directed a number of Capcom games in the mid-1980s, but the most notable from this era is the aforementioned 1985 arcade platformer Ghosts and Goblins, known as Makaimura in Japan. taking place in a medieval fantasy world populated with an amalgamation of monsters from different mythwa, such as demons, zombies, ghosts, magicians, and bats. Players must guide a knight named Arthur, not related to King Arthur, and venture into the demon realm to rescue Princess Prinprin. The premise sounds similar to the Super Mario series, but Ghosts and Goblins is notoriously difficult thanks to its aggressive enemy AI, Arthur's low character health, and the difficult obstacles in all the stages. Quote, "We focused on our own specific style of action game because our priority was for Capcom to offer something different from other companies." End quote, Fujiwara explains. Indeed, while most stages in Super Mario Bros. Can be completed without killing a single enemy by cleverly timing Mario's jumps, in Ghosts and Goblins, the action itself is the gameplay experience. Players must kill or be killed. Arthur, despite being a knight, is highly vulnerable to damage and will die after only 2 hits, like Mario. Arthur can also jump, but he cannot change direction mid-air like Mario can. According to Fujiwara, this design was completely intentional. Quote, "Back in the 80s, we made games difficult because we wanted players to spend a lot of time playing and make the experience very rewarding at the end. We needed the arcade version to be difficult so recurring players could make the game profitable for arcade operators." End quote. Ghost and Goblins is infamous for making players beat the game twice before seeing the ending, prompting Jeremy Parrish of the Retronauts podcast to once say, jokingly, that, quote, "Fujiwara is the most hateful man alive." End quote. Next section is Home Sweet Home, the first Capcom horror game. By the late 1980s, Capcom had built a solid reputation as an action game publisher, but the company wanted to diversify its game catalog and to create games that were more likely to succeed commercially. So, the company collaborated with other entertainment entities, allowing Capcom to combine its development prowess with a partner's intellectual property and marketing muscle. The most prominent collaboration of this time was Disney's DuckTales on the NES, a 1989 platforming title based on the popular American cartoon TV series. Produced by Fujiwara, DuckTales sold well and is often regarded as one of the best games on the NES. However, it wasn't the only licensed Capcom title of the era. The same year, Capcom also released a game called Sweet Home for the Famicom, the Japanese version of the NES, which was based on a Japanese horror film of the same name by famed filmmaker Kiyoshi Kurosawa. Directed by Fujiwara himself, Sweet Home uses the story, characters, and setting of Kurosawa's film. The game takes place in Japan, where a small film crew explores a large mansion once owned by artist Ichiro Mamiya in order to procure valuable antique frescoes he left behind. However, the crew soon discovers that the manor is haunted by the ghost of Lady Mamiya, Ichiro's wife, and they must escape without getting killed by her or other demons. The mansion is filled with monsters, locked rooms, hidden passageways, and death traps. Players control one of 5 characters and pair up with a partner character to explore the building. The mystery surrounding the Mamiya family can be uncovered by reading detailed files scattered throughout the game. Careful and meticulous item management is another key gameplay element. In a departure from prior Capcom games, Sweet Home is a role-playing game, RPG with random encounters and first-person battles against ghosts and other monsters, similar to Enix's Dragon Quest. Sweet Home also contains what Shenmue creator Yu Suzuki would eventually call Quick Time Events, QTEs, a gameplay mechanic that requires players to press a button within a very short time interval to avoid being killed by a trap. Even before the idea of a Sweet Home video game came up, Fujiwara believed that horror could become a genre of its own. Capcom obtaining the license gave him the opportunity to try to make it happen. Despite its RPG elements, he emphasizes that Sweet Home is a horror title first and foremost, and that he considers Capcom's later Breath of Fire series to be the company's first genuine RPG. Quote, "I made the Breath of Fire series because I wanted Capcom to branch out from action games to other genres, including RPGs. I made Sweet Home earlier, but I consider it a horror game rather than an RPG, end quote, Fujiwara clarifies. Because the Famicom NES was an 8-bit 2D console incapable of generating realistic graphics, there were limits to what Fujiwara's team could achieve in terms of creating a horror title with credible audio and visual expression. Even so, Capcom gave Sweet Home a considerable production budget. Development took about 2 years, which was longer than for other games of its time, especially within Capcom, whose games could usually be finished in as little as 3 months. While the visuals are great for an 8-bit title, the dot pixel graphics don't instill the levels of fear befitting a horror game. And while composer Junko Tamiya's chiptune soundtrack is moody, compositionally interesting, and matches the pacing of the game quite well, it doesn't exactly frighten viewers like a true horror game can. A true horror film can, excuse me. The Sweet Home brand never gained much commercial traction, either as a movie or as a video game. The film wasn't the blockbuster in Japanese theaters, and Capcom's game failed to sell as well as its more popular hits such as Ghosts and Goblins, Mega Man 2, or Bionic Commando. The game was never released outside of Japan due to regional licensing restrictions, denying Capcom the ability to increase sales through overseas markets. The film itself was eventually released on VHS, but as of 2019 has been long out of print, with no disc or digital release planned. Due to licensing, the game edition has met a similar fate to the film, having never been re-released on any platform, physically or digitally. However, regardless of the game's relative obscurity, Fujiwara considers Sweet Home to be a personal success story and a product he's particularly proud of. Quote, I think it turned out quite well, all things considered, end quote, he concludes. Due to its interesting production history, unique traits, and lack of release outside Japan, retro enthusiasts often give Sweet Home a shot, considering it a piece of gaming history. I asked Fujiwara if he'd like to see Sweet Home come back in some form. Quote, that would be great, wouldn't it? End quote, he says with a nostalgic smile on his face. However, in some respects, Sweet Home has actually been back for a very long time, since March 22nd, 1996 in fact, when Capcom released another attempt at a horror title, Resident Evil. Enter Shinji Mikami. Resident Evil begins development. After the release of Sweet Home, Capcom eventually moved on from the 8-bit video game era. The company's arcade business, while already flourishing in the 1980s, experienced a boom in 1991 with the massive, unprecedented success of Yoshiki Okamoto's Street Fighter II, which dramatically transformed Capcom's image, reflecting the game's tremendous cultural influence. For many young gamers in the early 1990s, Capcom might as well have been the Street Fighter brand. Meanwhile, Capcom continued to develop its console game business as well. NES remained a popular system through the early 1990s, but the game industry continued to evolve technologically and demographically as audiences grew older and gaming became more popular beyond Japan and the US. In October 1988, Sega released the 16-bit Genesis, known as the Mega Drive in most territories outside North America, eventually making the firm a viable competitor to Nintendo. Nintendo responded with its own 16-bit console, the Super NES. For Fujiwara, as general manager of Capcom's console games division, the 16-bit era provided the opportunity to create games with better graphics, sound, and gameplay. After Sweet Home, he went on to produce several NES and Super NES games such as Mega Man 3 through Mega Man 7, the Breath of Fire series, Demon's Crest, and Super Ghouls and Ghosts. He also oversaw the production of collaborative products with Disney, such as Disney's Aladdin. Even as the 16-bit era kept him busy, Fujiwara never lost sight of his lofty goal to make his original vision for Sweet Home a reality and invent the horror game genre. While Capcom couldn't revisit the Sweet Home property itself due to it being owned by a different company, Fujiwara constantly sought out an opportunity to develop another horror game. But despite their audio-visual advancements over the NES, the predominantly 2D 16-bit consoles still weren't advanced enough to express a credible vision of horror. Quote, the NES limited what we could achieve in terms of horror, end quote, Fujiwara admits. Quote, the next set of consoles, like the Super Famicom, were better but still not enough. End quote. But in 1993, Fujiwara finally got his chance. In that year, 3D graphics began to gain traction in Japan thanks to games such as Nintendo's Star Fox, a Super NES rail shooter title whose cartridge was equipped with a special chip enabling the system to display polygons, which are relatively more advanced visual shapes used to comprise video game graphics than the pixels commonly used in 2D titles. Another notable title was Sega's Virtua Fighter, a polygonal, competitive arcade fighting game made possible through advancements in arcade hardware. Even more significant was the entry of Japanese electronics manufacturing giant Sony into the video game hardware market. Following a failed collaboration with Nintendo to develop a CD-ROM drive add-on for the Super NES, Sony decided to go head-to-head with Nintendo and Sega through a 32-bit disc-based game console, PlayStation. Sony's system was capable of 3D graphics and it supported CD-ROMs, which gave developers opportunities to offer more content in their games, thanks to the disc's higher storage capacities and lower manufacturing costs. Nintendo's and Sega's 16-bit consoles use low-capacity, high-cost cartridges to store game data, which was prohibitive to creating a lengthy cinematic experience. Thanks to its more advanced capabilities and use of CD-ROMs, Fujiwara felt that PlayStation could finally bring the horror games genre to life. This was Fujiwara's long-awaited chance to strike while the iron was hot. As the game industry continued to evolve, Capcom itself continued to grow and change. A few of the employees who had joined Capcom in the 1980s, such as Mega Man creator Akira Kitamura and the company's chiptune composers Manami Matsumae and Takashi Tateishi, had left the company by 1990. However, Capcom was far from experiencing a brain drain. In 1990, a 24-year-old man from Yamaguchi, southwest Japan, named Shinji Mikami, joined the company as a designer. Fujiwara, whose duties included managing the development of new personnel, placed Mikami on a number of projects early in his career, including the licensed titles Disney's Goof Troop and Disney's Aladdin. Both Disney collaborations were critically and commercially successful, particularly the latter. By 1993, Fujiwara was no longer directing games himself, instead handing such duties to young creators to give them opportunities for professional growth. He was impressed with Mikami's work ethic and strong sense of game design on the Disney titles, so he reached out to him about the creation of a Sweet Home-inspired horror game with Mikami as director. In a 2016 interview with video game news website GameSpot, Mikami recalled his meeting with Fujiwara. Quote, "We were in Capcom's Osaka game development studio and my boss at the time, Tokuro Fujiwara, called me in to talk to him. He said that he wanted us to make a horror game using systems from Sweet Home. I was actually a big fan of Sweet Home, and Fujiwara was someone that I really respected, so I was excited about the project from the beginning." End quote. Fujiwara explains his own perspective, stating that, quote, "Mikami proved himself to be a capable individual immediately after he joined Capcom. I learned of his talents while observing his work on the Super NES games. That's why I chose him to work on Resident Evil." End quote. An enthusiastic Mikami accepted the offer and under Fujiwara's guidance, got to work on a new horror game. Bringing the survival and the horror, the world of Resident Evil. Video game fans will remember the original 1996 Resident Evil as being a unique game for its time. As part of the product's branding, Capcom crafted the term survival horror for the game's genre to emphasize the fact that the game was every bit as much about fighting for one's life as it was about experiencing fear, uncertainty, and tension. Resident Evil is renowned for delivering both the survival and the horror with equal success, therefore allowing the survival horror name to become part of the gaming mainstream. The basic premise of Resident Evil sees members of a police unit known as the STARS, Special Tactics and Rescue Service, Alpha Team, heading towards the last known coordinates of their counterparts, Bravo Team, who have gone missing during an investigation of several grisly murders that took place in Raccoon Forest. Soon enough, Alpha Team discovers the source of these violent killings. They are the work of zombies created by an evil pharmaceutical corporation operating out of a laboratory buried deep beneath the Spencer estate, a large and mysterious mansion. The estate is nestled away in the aforementioned forest, which lies on the outskirts of a fictional Midwestern US town known as Raccoon City. Resident Evil contains what can be considered a very rudimentary version of what gamers now call open world because, door opening loading sequences notwithstanding, the game comprises an expansive, interconnected arrangement of rooms and corridors with access consistent with the real world. Here you will not find any magic green pipes that teleport your character to the other side of the world in 2 seconds. The lone exception to this rule is the item box. Due to the characters being able to hold only 6 or 8 items at a time, items not currently required need to be deposited into item boxes, which are scattered throughout the game. The item boxes are all magically connected to each other for later item retrieval. The only element of the game that breaks the universe is space-time continuum. The world of Resident Evil is a drastic departure from earlier Capcom 2D games, such as Mega Man, which features distinct stages completely disconnected from one another, or Street Fighter 2, whose country-themed stages are connected via a world map that players don't interact with directly. In Resident Evil, players must unlock doors to progress through the environment, which often involves solving puzzles or locating unusual objects, such as crests engraved with emblems like animals or weather elements. Opening these doors yields new items and weapons, which bring players one step closer to the end. The game world map of Resident Evil is made possible thanks to its 3D gameplay and graphics engine. Initially, the development team had conceptualized a game with a first-person viewpoint, but this required more polygons and processing power than the team was capable of extracting out of PlayStation this early in the system's lifecycle. Instead, the team achieved a realistic look by employing a clever mix of polygonal character models and pre-rendered photo-like backgrounds. The characters are ordinary human beings who wander through rooms containing mundane objects such as typewriters, kitchen tables, bookshelves, keys, bathtubs, diaries that players can read to uncover clues, and so forth. These objects are no longer stylized pixel renders as commonly seen in previous console generations. Many at the time of release considered Resident Evil a graphical masterpiece for PlayStation. While not exactly Toy Story quality, the game looked considerably more advanced than anything that had come before it. The benefits of the pre-rendered backgrounds are the increased detail of the visuals, the smoother frame rate, and the claustrophobic yet atmospheric angles from which players can view the action. What prevents Resident Evil from being a true open-world game is the fact that the rooms are separated by non-skippable door-opening loading animations that are at least 5 seconds long, a conscious design decision by the development team to account for the limited system memory of PlayStation, which could only render one room at a time while maintaining the game's visual fidelity. The game's enemy characters also lend much credence to the survival horror genre name. Easily the series' signature enemies, the existence of zombies is justified by the mysterious T-virus created by the enigmatic Umbrella Corporation. Of course, the use of zombies wasn't itself an original idea. By 1996, the creatures had already been popularized in films such as George Romero's Night of the Living Dead. But the zombie concept evolved through Resident Evil because, by being in a video game, zombies were no longer relegated to movies, whose endings viewers had no control over, or to cheesy costumes seen at Halloween parties. The game offered players their first credible opportunity to interact with zombies directly. Players could fight them with firearms or combat knives, while the zombies could, in turn, bite the character back and eventually kill them if enough damage was sustained. The audience no longer had to just sit back and watch the action unfold in a predetermined manner. They now had direct control over their experience and the fate of their characters. The game features more enemies than just zombies. The scene early on in the game in which two Cerberus, the game's name for zombified dogs, named after the Hound of Hades in Greek mythology, jumping through a window unannounced has become one of the most memorable and iconic set pieces in gaming history. It's probably the scene that defines most players' first recollection of the game because it happened so unexpectedly. As soon as the Cerberus appear, the music changes to a frantic percussion track that ratchets up the tension to almost unbearable levels. That said, the Cerberus aren't overly dangerous. They don't deal a ton of damage. They may be more difficult to shoot than zombies, but they require fewer bullets to kill, making them more of a nuisance than a real threat. Assuming the player can regain his or her composure following their surprise appearance. But then there are the Hunters, which appear halfway through the game to up the challenge. These green-skinned, hunchbacked reptilian creatures are outfitted with sharp claws on their hands and feet, making them faster and more dangerous than zombies as they can decapitate players with a devastating leap/attack in unguarded moments. The initial appearance of a hunter is another iconic scene, as the creature is introduced entirely through a computer-generated CG movie. As the player enters a previously visited room, during the game's second act, a cutscene depicts a more agile yet clearly very deadly creature running towards the player, all from the point of view of the actual creature. Players have no idea what they are up against until the scene ends, when the hunter comes into view and gameplay resumes. Players have mere seconds to deal with this new threat and must choose a powerful weapon like the shotgun to survive. Each of the game's enemies contributes to the challenge of surviving a horrific nightmare no matter how overwhelming the odds. Player is in complete control of the character's destiny, and it's up to them to exercise the right combination of calculation, judgment, and skill to get through the game. For Mikami, it was this key difference between video game and cinema that motivated him to choose zombies as the game's primary antagonists. In a Now Gamer interview, Mikami declared how unfortunate it was that the cast of Dawn of the Dead could never survive their ordeal no matter what the audience wanted, something he wanted to change with Resident Evil. That said, it's somewhat ironic to describe Resident Evil as a game that lets players take complete control of the experience, considering the awkwardness of the game's so-called tank controls, as they are referred to in English. These controls have been criticized throughout the years for their complexity and low level of intuitiveness. Indeed, maneuvering the characters is akin to driving a military tank, which can be a clumsy endeavor. In Japanese, the tank controls are referred to as Rajikon Sosa, with Rajikon being a portmanteau of the English words radio and controls. In turn, Rajikon Sosa refers to a toy race car operated with a twin-stick remote control. One stick for pushing the wheels forward or backward, and the other for moving them sideways. The controls enable the in-game character to move forward when the player presses up on the gamepad and to step back when they press down, regardless of the actual direction the character faces relative to the television screen. A contrasting approach is found in the real-time controls featured in Super Mario 64, to cite another 1996 game, where up always moves Mario forward and down always turns him around and sends him in the opposite direction. The issue with Resident Evil's controls are exacerbated by the pre-rendered backgrounds, which sometimes leaves enemies hidden in plain sight. Players are aware that enemies are in the room because they can hear them, but they can't actually see the enemies because they aren't within view of the camera. But being attacked by unseen enemies is part of the fabric of classic Resident Evil, even if it can be frustrating. The Japanese version mitigated this problem with auto-aiming weapons. Pressing R1 on the PlayStation controller makes the character aim directly at the enemy so players can shoot with confidence. However, auto-aim functionality was removed from the North American version to increase the difficulty level, therefore encouraging North Americans to buy the game rather than rent it. Games are not available for rental in Capcom's native Japan in any case. The development team wasn't unaware of the potential pitfalls the controls presented. When Yoshiki Okamoto joined the team in the late 1995 to replace outgoing executive producer Tokuro Fujiwara, one of the first requests he made to Shinji Mikami was to determine which controls were more suitable for the game, tank or real-time. The development team tried both schemes in pre-release builds and concluded that the game was scarier with the tank controls. Quote, "We implemented Devil May Cry style real-time controls into a pre-release build, but the game lost its sense of fear and challenge because the zombies were far too easy to avoid. So, we ended up dropping them from the game and keeping the tank controls," end quote, Okamoto recalled. He also asked Mikami to look into implementing other adjustments, such as increasing the number of ink ribbons, which are used on typewriters found throughout the game world, to save players' progress onto a PlayStation memory card. The increase was from 1 to 3%. In a May 1998 interview with Japanese print publisher Micro Design Publishing, Okamoto joked that without this change, quote, "the game would become one where players spend the entire time looking for ink ribbons," end quote. When he joined the team, Okamoto believed that Resident Evil was shaping up to be a, quote, "shitty game," but that it could become good if a few adjustments were made. His advice proved to be pivotal. For all its touted innovations in game design, Resident Evil isn't actually the first horror game ever made. Looking beyond the Capcom catalog, some argue that the honor belongs to Mystery House on the Atari 2600 or perhaps Alone in the Dark on the PC. However, I can say with confidence that Resident Evil was the first survival horror game ever released, thanks to its combination of realistic 3D game world, a lineup of genuinely terrifying enemies, and controls that let players confront zombies without making them too easy to defeat. It's thanks to the game's genre-defining elements that the survival horror name has resonated with the entire gaming community and became the standard moniker for just about any kind of video game that contains horror and or fear elements, even if its use for non-Capcom games is technically unofficial. Konami refers to its Silent Hill series as horror adventure, while Koei Tecmo calls Fatal Frame or Project Zero in Europe horror action adventure. But in the eyes of the average gamer, they're all still survival horror. And despite all its technical limitations, the realistically crafted world of Resident Evil allows for the survival and the horror to successfully come together in a way that Alone in the Dark, Clock Tower, and Sweet Home could only have dreamed of. In a 2010 retrospective with Now Gamer, Shinji Mikami admitted that, quote, "you couldn't really call Resident Evil beautiful now." But he also reminded the audience that it was, quote, "incredibly difficult to produce the game for the PlayStation hardware back then," end quote. In Resident Evil may be a relic by today's standards, but at that time, creating such a game was a gargantuan task, and the impact it had on the medium was immeasurable. The master of unlocking, localization and voice acting in Resident Evil. The original Resident Evil would have become iconic solely on the basis of its survival and horror elements. Yet the game boasts an iconic cast of characters that have contributed to its strong presence in video game pop culture. The characters consist of Chris Redfield, Jill Valentine, Albert Wesker, Barry Burton, and Rebecca Chambers, all of whom belong to STARS. Chris, Jill, Barry, and Wesker belong to Alpha Team, while Rebecca belongs to Bravo Team. Created by scenario writer Kenichi Iwao and named by game planner Hideki Kamiya, the characters are caricatures of American superheroes and villains, each crafted by Japanese people who in the 1990s relied on mass media to help shape their image of Americans. Even if they are unrealistic exaggerations of American people, each of the STARS members has become a video game icon with their own sizable fan base. Chris, 25, an ex-Air Force pilot, is a flawed tough guy who means well and carries a keen sense of justice. Jill, 23, is a strong, fierce, and independent ex-Delta Force heroine who is also an expert pianist and lockpicker. Wesker, 38, sports slick back hair, sunglasses, and a black police uniform, and is the cool-headed yet enigmatic villain. In contrast, Rebecca, who wears an olive green medical uniform, is a highly intelligent, resourceful, and clairvoyant young woman who has already graduated college by the age of 18. Chris's, Jill's, and Rebecca's resumes may be unrealistically impressive, and in Jill's case, completely impossible, as the Delta Force only enlists male participants. But the characters nonetheless succeed in capturing the imaginations of people looking for an escape from reality when playing video games. Many Resident Evil fans find the characters attractive and appealing, and even fans not yet born in 1996 can be seen cosplaying the original characters. Barry also has a following and is a favorite of many Resident Evil fans. Both he and Albert are 38, making them the oldest of the main characters, while Barry is the only one who is a parent during the events of Resident Evil. He has a distinctive beard that adds to his sense of authority and to his quasi-parental role to the younger Chris and Jill. However, what makes Barry so memorable is not so much his appearance, but what he says. Barry has become particularly infamous for the rather unfortunate dialogue he delivers early in the game. Not everyone who plays Resident Evil will make it to the end, but most players will get to witness at least two of Barry's classic lines. The game has been universally panned for its poorly delivered, stilted voiceovers, resulting in lines that have unrealistic intonation and emphasis.
Uh,
Thanks to Barry.
yeah,
Sorry?
sorry, real quick. I've been I used a link to the Unbound page for the book. I apologize for interrupting. There was a command in chat that I had it set to. Like if I type !book, it takes it to the backing page. But I believe that it is no longer possible to back the book. Is that correct?
I think you can back the digital version only. You can't actually back the physical one. And if you back the digital version, I believe you will get the book on the 22nd. Or when I say digital version, I mean the ebook.
Oh, okay.
That you'll need a Kindle or some kind of e-reader to read.
Yeah. Yes. There's a viewer in the chat who says that he wants a physical copy of the book. How might he be able to go about getting one at this juncture?
You'll have to order it from Amazon.
Okay, so it is available on Amazon.
Yeah, if it's available on, I believe, all the Amazon pages throughout the world. So you can look at the Amazon page that serves your country, and if you look up Itchy Tasty, you should be able to pre-order the book for delivery.
Yeah.
But the physical book doesn't come out until May.
Okay. Yeah.
April. Excuse me.
Yeah, I'll fix the link. Please, by all means, continue. I apologize. Go for it.
Let me start that section again. All right. So we were talking about Barry. Let me start here. However, what makes Barry so memorable is not so much his appearance, but what he says. Barry has become particularly infamous for the rather unfortunate dialogue that he delivers early in the game. Not everyone who plays Resident Evil will make it to the end, but most players will get to witness at least two of Barry's classic lines. The game has been universally panned for its poorly delivered, stilted voiceovers, resulting in lines that have unrealistic intonation and emphasis. Thanks to Barry, gaming pop culture contains references to quotes such as, "It might be better if you, the master of unlocking, take it with you," and "You were almost a Jill sandwich." Although unintentionally funny, there's no denying these words are badly written. The awkward dialogue results from a combination of a low production budget, cultural differences, and differing priorities between the development team, the voice cast, and those tasked with managing their relationships. Shinji Mikami offers one take on how the voice acting ended up the way it did. I joined him for dinner in Osaka in January 2007, back when I did not yet speak conversational Japanese. Mikami himself did not speak conversational English, so the two of us communicated through a mutual friend and interpreter. With the two of us unable to say anything to each other directly, Mikami attempted to make conversation by humorously holding out his right hand and pointing out his index finger so his hand resembled a gun. He then looked at me and said, in accented English, "I have this." He was referring to a line quoted by Barry early on in Resident Evil. Mikami explained that the dialogue had been kept intentionally simplistic, so that even ordinary Japanese people could understand it. By the way, Resident Evil does not have a Japanese dub, even for the Japanese version. Many Japanese people are not fully conversant in English, but because it is a compulsory subject in Japan's educational curriculum, the average person is likely to understand at least some English if it is spoken in simple sentences, slowly and clearly. More than a decade has passed since my dinner with Mikami. I moved to Tokyo 8 months later in September 2007 and still live there today. I am now fluent in Japanese and armed with a dictionary for the occasional new word. I can comfortably play through any Resident Evil game in the language, whether it's Japanese text and English voices or entirely Japanese. Resident Evil games began offering Japanese dubs in 2012. After a decade spent in the country and all the grammatical and spelling errors in English one will inevitably encounter during that time, I can see where Mikami was coming from. In my experience, most Japanese people in large cities like Tokyo and Osaka understand simple English phrases from Resident Evil, such as, "Stop it! Don't open that door!" and, "Oh no! It's a monster!" The game's lines do not get any more complex than that. In 2016, the average Japanese person's English knowledge of English was parodied in the hit music video PPAP by Japanese comedian Pikotaro. His yellow leopard print outfit, simplistic yet mesmerizing choreography, and bizarre facial expressions make for a hilarious video on their own. But the main lyrics, "I have a pen, I have a apple," also poke fun at Japanese people's English. Of course, there are many Japanese people who are fluent in English, certainly a great many more than the number of Westerners fluent in Japanese. But the reality is that the dialogue in Resident Evil is not that much more difficult than the lyrics of PPAP. The game's oversimplistic dialogue was a deliberate choice by Mikami to accommodate Capcom's domestic audience at the expense of a more realistic portrayal for the West. Even when considering the intentional simplification of the game's dialogue, there are still deficiencies in the game's overall English localization, a video game term that refers to a product whose content is intentionally modified to suit a different linguistic audience, not just translated directly from the original. In 1996, the concept of a high-quality game localization, and even the term localization itself, was still unusual. Shinsaku Ohara, a bilingual designer who entered Capcom in 1999, recalls that the company did not have a localization team when he joined. Quote, "If you compare Resident Evil with previous Capcom games, you'll see that there wasn't much to translate before it. Therefore, it was enough for the game to just be in English without regard to quality." End quote, Ohara explains. The voice recordings themselves took place in August and September 1995 in Tokyo. At this point in time, the use of full-fledged professional recording studios for video games was still years away from being commonplace. With a very limited budget and no precedent for carrying out complex video recordings, Capcom and other publishers could only afford to look for people close to home. There was and still is a relatively small pool of native English speakers in Japan, so the people who were recruited for recording gigs were not necessarily trained professionals. They may have been English teachers, DJs, religious missionaries, or relatives of Japanese nationals. In most cases, their actual talent did not matter, if it was even perceptible to begin with. They just needed to be native English speakers. Two voice actors and actresses who worked on Resident Evil offer their own perspectives on why the dialogue turned out the way it did. Lynn Harris was the voice actress of Rebecca and also oversaw the casting of the other characters. Harris describes the camp, over-the-top feel of her performance to the fact that she didn't have sufficient background knowledge of the game during the recording. She also notes how disconnected every segment of production was. Quote, "I was not provided with enough information to know exactly what was going on in each scene." End quote, Harris says. Quote, "That's the way it was. Thus, decisions on how and where to use the voices and in which contexts were made by game editors who I assume had little or no English language skills." End quote. Harris defends her work on the game, explaining, quote, "People keep saying the acting was bad, but that's not so. It's just that the lines weren't used in the way we thought they'd be." End quote. Barry's voice actor, Barry Gjerde, concurs with Harris about their having been in the dark regarding the game's content, presuming that the secrecy was intentional for competitive reasons. Gjerde says, quote, "I also noticed that there seemed to be a reluctance on the part of clients or agents to tell the name of the game, as if it were a secret so the competition wouldn't know." End quote. The Japanese game industry was infamous for its wide-ranging protection of trade secrets in the 1980s and 1990s, so Gurde's assumption certainly has merit. Gurde also explains that his most memorable lines were part of the script written by Capcom. Quote, "For those people who are dying of curiosity, no, I did not improvise or make up those corny lines. Jill Sandwich, etc. They were in the script, and as a voice actor, it was my job to read them. Recording sessions are not a democracy, and if you want to work, you don't complain much." End quote. It didn't help matters that the recording setup also had its limitations. Gjerde recalls his experience in the cramped studio. Quote, "Sometimes as many as 4 of us had to squeeze into a totally inadequate narration booth, holding our scripts, deftly moving out of the way when it was someone else's turn at the one microphone, and getting to the mic when it was our turn." End quote. Many would agree with Gjerde that a job is a job, and regardless of the voice cast's actual talent, the combination of low budget production values, different cultural backgrounds, everyone's lack of experience, and the only recent incipience of fully voiced video games made high quality voice acting in Resident Evil unfeasible in 1995. Seeing how things turned out, perhaps Capcom would not have wanted it any other way. The voice acting of Resident Evil is every bit as vital to the game's identity as the survival horror slogan, the gameplay, the pre-rendered graphics, tank controls, and sci-fi story. There are several fan-made parody videos on the internet that manipulate the voiceovers to make them sound more comedic or sexual. Lines from the original game's dialogue would go on to be referenced several times over in future Resident Evil editions, with comedic effect. In 2002, a remake of Resident Evil was released with a tremendous visual makeover. The dialogue, too, was revamped with better voice acting, though it was still imperfect. Yet while the remake is considered one of the best entries in the series, the improved voice acting means that it is seen very differently from the original, which holds a unique place in the canon thanks to Barry's classic lines. The remake is lauded for being a great game, but is not necessarily a beloved object of pop culture. More recently, 2015's Resident Evil Revelations 2, the first game in the canon since the original to feature Barry as a protagonist, apes a number of his original lines to the amusement of longtime fans. Whew, okay. Resident Evil saves Capcom. Many, if not most, will agree that game development is universally difficult. The production of Resident Evil in particular was far from smooth sailing from start to finish, with several hurdles specific to the project.
What is it?
It was
What? Oh! Oh
I have no idea. This remix album has like some voice acting just like interspersed everywhere. So
wow, what timing.
yeah, indubitably.
I feel like what timing is from Resident Evil. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, actually, no, he's like, "Jill, what good timing." A moment ago, I heard
right.
someone. Yeah.
All right. Let me back up 1 second. The production of Resident Evil in particular was far from smooth sailing from start to finish, with several hurdles specific to the project. It was a 3D game being developed for new hardware. It was on a larger scale than anything Capcom had produced before, and the majority of the team members, Shinji Mikami included, were new to their jobs. So there was very little experience to go around. The only true veteran on the team was executive producer Tokuro Fujiwara, but despite his long-running desire to create the horror video game genre, he had very little active involvement in the game's specific direction, leaving those responsibilities to Mikami. Thus, Mikami found himself leading a team of green but talented people that included planners Koji Oda, Hideki Kamiya, Kazuhiro Aoyama, and Hiroki Kato, character animator Jun Takeuchi, programmers Yasuhiro Ampo and Hiroyuki Kobayashi, gameplay designer Katsutoshi Karatsuma, scenario writer Kenichi Iwao, and sound designer Ippo Yamada. The team initially experimented with utilizing ghosts for enemies, but this didn't stray far enough from Sweet Home, nor did it seem interesting to Mikami. They also tried to run a fully 3D engine with the game, offering a first-person perspective of the on-screen action, but technical limits forced them to adopt pre-rendered backgrounds instead. Quote, "We had originally attempted to have everything appear in full polygons. However, it became clear early on that this wouldn't be possible given the limitation of the hardware at the time. Mikami's priority was making sure the zombies' visuals conveyed a sense of fear, so the decision was made to use polygons for them. The backgrounds were then swapped out to pre-rendered visuals, and this was when we decided to use a static camera angle as well," end quote, programmer Yasuhiro Ampo told GameSpot in a 2016 interview. The tone of the game was meant to be more humorous. This is unrelated to the wonderful accident that is the game's voice acting, but time constraints forced that approach to be dropped as well. Beyond such directional changes, the development was riddled with trial and error experimentation within every single aspect of the game as the team explored what worked and what didn't. Game development is seldom an easy affair, but for Resident Evil, further difficulties arose due to the unfavorable financial situation Capcom found itself in by the mid-1990s. The company saw initial success with series like Mega Man, the collaborations with Disney, and especially Street Fighter II, which nearly single-handedly carried Capcom through the first half of the 1990s. However, the so-called SF2 wave came to an end, and later Street Fighter sequels failed to perform as well as their predecessor. Meanwhile, game development costs were rising due to the advent of 3D games, which required longer development times and more personnel. Many Capcom employees assumed the company would go bankrupt. Luckily for Capcom, in 1990, its then CEO, Kenzo Tsujimoto, purchased an area of land in California's Napa Valley that was famous for its red wine vineyards, both to pursue his interest in wine and as a personal investment. The income from this investment apparently helped Capcom stay in business through the mid-1990s. Aside from Capcom's financial troubles, development of the original Resident Evil was facing its own external pressures. In late 1995, despite the game's development being nearly complete, Capcom considered canceling Resident Evil altogether due to a recommendation from an American consulting firm whose advisory services Capcom sought in order to assess its struggling business. Capcom would have capitulated had it not been for Fujiwara's insistence that the game see its way to release. Fujiwara, whose dream to make survival horror a reality was nearly a decade old at this point, was a fervent believer in the game's potential to succeed. Quote, "No one, not even the development team, had high expectations for the game. Certain managers at Capcom wanted to cancel the game, and that's what nearly happened. However, I pushed for them to see production through to the end. I myself personally had a lot of faith in the game." End quote, Fujiwara explains. Shinji Mikami, despite being the game's director, did not himself learn of the near cancellation until nearly a decade later. In the Resident Evil series, injured characters can completely recover their health with an item called the First Aid Spray. Figuratively speaking, Fujiwara was the First Aid Spray that saved Resident Evil, bringing it back from red danger status to green fine. It turns out that Resident Evil couldn't have come at a better time for Capcom. After 3 years of production and development, the game was finally launched on March 26, 1996 in Japan, and on March 30th in North America. The game shattered Capcom's modest expectations both commercially and critically, receiving positive reviews from players and the game media alike. People lauded the game for its scare factor, detailed graphics, and groundbreaking 3D gameplay. It earned the accolade of Game of the Year 1996 in the magazine GamePro, and was voted best PlayStation game overall in a North American PlayStation.com poll the same year. Reflecting on the game's success, Yoshiki Okamoto explains that, quote, Resident Evil was the first PlayStation game that sold 1 million shortly after its release. Other titles gradually hit that mark as well, but Resident Evil got there the quickest, end quote. The original 1996 version sold 2.57 million by the end of its run, which would seem little compared to the likes of Street Fighter II if it weren't for the fact that Resident Evil would go on to be re-released multiple times. First in 1997. Sales of those versions are counted separately, but when combined, the total sales of Resident Evil across its 3 releases on the original PlayStation stand at 5.08 million units, according to Capcom's own data. Mikami told Now Gamer, quote, to be honest, I was surprised by how successful it was. It was just a happy accident that the PlayStation market and the saleability of Biohazard matched so perfectly. I think we were lucky, end quote. In 2017, I met an individual who by sheer coincidence happened to be a relative of a former member of Capcom's board of directors. That board member resigned from Capcom in the mid-1990s, believing that the company wouldn't survive into the second half of the decade. Quote, Capcom managed to stay afloat thanks to Tsujimoto's investment in Napa Valley, end quote, the relative explained. Quote, but afterwards, Resident Evil was released and became a huge hit, and the rest is history, end quote. Mikami concurs, having also believed that Capcom was going to go under. But company financial matters aside, as far as Mikami himself was concerned, it was mission accomplished. Quote, I felt very strongly that I'd fulfilled my responsibility, he said, referring back to that which his boss, Fujiwara, had entrusted upon him when greenlighting the project 3 years earlier. It is ironic that a game featuring so much untimely death would help save its creator from the brink of bankruptcy. Or perhaps not. After all, scenario writer Kenichi Iwao, who meticulously created the Resident Evil universe and all of its characters, subplots, locations, and thematic motifs, originally envisioned the T-Virus as a means of bringing the dead back to life, a theme that would permeate throughout the series from the first game onward. Now, having been resuscitated by the unforeseen success of Resident Evil, Capcom's immediate priority was to maintain its momentum and make the brand even bigger and better. The end.
That's everything?
That is all for chapter 1. Yes. How long did that take? Like an hour?
Yeah, something like that. About an hour.
Wow. That's intense, reading that from beginning to end in one go.
Yeah. Yeah, so, while Alex was reading this chapter, I did update the link for ! book. If you wanted a physical copy of the book, you can pre-order one on Amazon right now with that Amazon affiliate link. Otherwise, you can still back the digital version, and you can begin reading it as soon as tomorrow, if you would so wish. But yeah, no, this is this book. It's dude, this is really something, Alex. Thank you so much for for coming on stream, during this the day of my favorite video game's anniversary to read it for all of us here.
It's amazing, and I don't know if anyone could tell, but I was very self-conscious as I read the whole book. I just wasn't sure how it would sound when I actually read it out loud. And
I mean, honestly,
I really hope.
Honestly, you're as far as I'm concerned, I feel because you're the one who wrote it, and it is a subject you're passionate about. I feel like it's just an outpouring of that passion to everyone here right now. So
I'm really happy to hear that. Thank you. I hope that people found it easy to follow. I hope it it met their expectations, and if not, let me know what you thought could have been better as well. I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
there are things in there that could have been written better.
Okay, Vive DRX85 asks, will it come out on Audible as well?
That's referring to an audiobook, right?
Yes, yes, an audiobook.
I believe there are plans for that. Yes, I don't think it's coming out at launch, so I'll have to find out how that's going and see
Okay,
what the
yeah, yeah.
situation is.
It's in the concept phase, but it is not, anywhere near close to, like a release phase. So it's
I think you can technically have, if you use the Kindle app, for example, I think you can have it read the book aloud in a very generic fashion. So that might be one way you can enjoy reading it.
yeah. It is indeed his first book, Revlin.
First book, yeah, you can probably tell.
Yeah. Jeebus2477 says over here, can't wait to get my backed copy. Been a fan of Alex since the game FAQs days. Haha.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, that I guess Game Facts would be when I first started writing stuff in general for Resident Evil.
Yeah, no, it's our boy here has been at this for a very, very, very long time. A very, very, very long time. And it's I'm actually very happy that he's here to read this today. Because in a way, it just feels like, we've come full circle, 25 years. I mean, it's like, what the fuck? Like 25 years ago, it was maybe a little bit after, like when was the North American release of the game? It was like a couple of months after this, wasn't it? Something like that.
It was a week after.
Oh,
on
week
March
after.
30th.
Okay, yeah. Like
Someone
Resident.
wasn't paying attention to the book.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But yeah, it was like, yeah. So that would have meant that Resident Evil was my whole third grade summer. Like I got the game. Well, I didn't get the game. It was my stepbrother at the time got the game, and it was just absolutely mind blowing. Just like full on voice acting, like FMVs, and just like the way that it established, like atmosphere, the world. There was just no other game like it at the time, and aside from that, it's like the controls were weird, but the gameplay loop was still interesting enough that it was like, okay, we know that we can progress. We know that there's got to be a way to progress. So it's like, here we are figuring out, like, okay, is it triangle to shoot? Because most like video games at the time, you press like, just like one button to shoot, but then it's like Resident Evil. You don't really know the score unless you played another game with tank controls before. And it took us a while. We didn't know about like handgun magazines. We didn't know anything except like, the 3 items that we could pick up. And we kept dying, until we got the strategy guide. And then after that, it was just like open season, learning how the game worked, and, everything clicked. It was just so much fun after that.
Yeah, I agree. And as my username cvxfreak might indicate, Code Veronica was my first Resident Evil game, so I was, by some measures, quite late to the party. And I don't regret playing Code Veronica first, because I love Code Veronica so much. But I mean, it would have been really interesting to have been part of the Resident Evil franchise from day one, or even year one, right? So, to play starting with 1 and then going into 2, 3 Code Veronica and onward, I'm sure that's a different experience than me, who had to go backwards in time. And it's a bit of a shame, because Code Veronica had those areas that were lifted from the original game, right? Like the Spencer Mansion replica hallway, main hall, and the hallway, and the room with the spinning tiger. But because I hadn't played Resident Evil 1 at the time, those didn't mean anything to me, right? It was actually the reverse. When I played Resident Evil 1, I realized, wait, this was this main hall was in Code Veronica. And so that would be, maybe the one thing that if I could go back in time to 1996 and change, maybe I would play Resident Evil 1 as my first Resident Evil game.
I mean, however you got to experience it. I mean, like I feel like Resident Evil is just like one of those things where you can kind of play it in any order just because there's like so many of them, and you can just like kind of enjoy them out of order. I don't necessarily think they need to be like totally in order in order to like really enjoy all of them, but
Right.
you know it's uh it's a
I mean,
it's
there's no right or
yeah.
wrong way to enjoy Resident Evil, in my opinion. And these past 25 years, there have been like 20 different games, including all the spin-offs, and there have been so many different gameplay styles, so many protagonists, and I find that there's got to be something for everybody at this point. Whether you like, old-fashioned horror games, you like first person or action. I don't think there's a wrong way to enjoy Resident Evil, and you make Resident Evil. You should make Resident Evil your thing, and you should enjoy it on your terms, not on what anyone else says, right?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. I always say, like favorite games and stuff like that, like it's all personal. It's all your opinion, like play it the way you like it, enjoy it the way you like it, just as long as it's like as long as you're in there, you find I'm sure you'll find people who feel the same way about the video game as you do, but it's just whatever ones you like, stick to your guns. Just feels
Yeah,
whatever feels good to you. That's what I feel like video games are all about, you know?
yeah. I'm kind of curious, based on what people heard from my live reading. What were some of the more interesting parts?
Yeah,
Or
again,
like that you might have thought, Carsey, for example, or anyone who's reading or who's watching this stream, rather. Excuse me. Now, did anything stick out, or something you didn't know about that you thought was interesting?
uh I'm trying to think. I don't remember anything like in particular. I was just, there is just a lot to take in for the most part. Yeah, Barry's great. Barry Girda. The history of Sweet Home was good. And the Vineyard story, actually, yeah, no, the Vineyard story, like I knew that Kenzo Sugimoto sold wine, like he owns a winery in Napa Valley. Like I actually linked it to chat during the reading, but I had no idea that it was actually that Sugimoto actually like took a cash infusion from his wine in order to keep a multi-million
Yes.
dollar like a multi-million dollar video game operation afloat while it was
Right.
while it was not doing so hot
Yeah, I mean
financially.
that
Like
that
that's
period.
kind
Yeah,
of
Street Fighter 2, Capcom kind of, you know, Capcom went a little too far into the whole arcade fighting game scene, and the various iterations of Street Fighter 2 started selling less and less, and it wasn't able to sustain the company anymore. And like, one thing I didn't mention regarding Street Fighter 2 was that a lot of the reason why its popularity started fading was because 3D fighting games like Virtua Fighter and Tekken were starting to were seen as more impressive and more modern than Street Fighter 2 and Street Fighter Alpha were. So that really had an impact on Capcom's ability to stay competitive. And with
yeah.
yeah, with the Wine Vineyard, um, Capcom was still a family-owned business at the time. I don't believe they were publicly traded until 1999 or 2000.
Yeah,
So
that would actually make a lot of sense. Like that yeah, it's like in order for, a corporation to, receive like a cash infusion anywhere else, they got to go like on the stock market. Otherwise, it's like it could go up, it could go down, but if they got like, that extra cash infusion from like investors and whatnot to be able to, take more risks like that,
yeah,
then
someone
it's like
yes.
they don't gotta rely on Sujimoto's wine money in order to be able to keep it going, right?
Yeah, BC2 Acolyte mentioned on the chat that Mortal Kombat was another game that kind of had an impact on Street Fighter's waning popularity, which is true, but that wasn't exactly true in Japan.
Yeah,
That
it
was
was,
more true in the West.
yeah, maybe, yeah, certainly in the West. How did Street Fighter 3 do in comparison? Do you know?
Oh, very underwhelmingly.
Oh man,
Y'all
that's
should check
yeah.
out Matt Leone's the Street Fighter book writer.
Oh,
I was able to interpret for his book actually. So
oh, cool.
yeah, Street Fighter 3 was definitely a bit of a low point in the series
Yeah,
as
no,
far as sales and
I would actually like love to read that. You gotta link it to me sometime because like anything about like development history and stuff like that. I would I just gotta know more. Gotta learn more and more and more. This is my shit now.
you're welcome, BC2 Acolyte. Did anyone else find anything interesting about the Resident Evil 1 chapter? I know some people were mentioning like a lot of the tidbits about the voice acting. Yeah, it was a very, very rudimentary setup by modern standards, and the talent that they sought out rather to do voice acting in a lot of early games was not good. Not because the people were untalented specifically, but it was because of the way production was handled.
Is that's Konominita says I think he
No,
was
Noto
transliterating
Noto Konomi
Noto Konomi
Biohazard
Bi-
Kayui Uma Narekishi.
Narakishi.
That's a
Yeah,
direct
direct
that's a
translation.
chokuyaku.
Yeah.
That's a direct translation of the title of my book into Japanese. I've
Yeah,
never actually thought
I mean
about what the
it
title
actually
would
doesn't
be.
sound bad at all.
Oh, what is
Biohazard Kayui Uma na what are those last?
Rekishi?
Nik
Rekishi.
Rikishi, okay.
I think in Japanese, my book, if you translated it, yeah, it would be Kayu Uma
That's actually like that's actually one
Bio
of the things that I found like really cool. Like in the
Biohazard の非公式歴史本。バイオハザードの非公式歴史、非公式歴史かな? Yeah, Japanese and English are so hard to translate between each other. It's always
yeah.
a challenge.
So yeah, I reckon we can switch over to the video game here in a minute. Did you still want to take a break? Like is the
Yeah.
is the Yuna Wutski here? I can go ahead and get set up.
Not yet. If it happened, if she comes, we can just do it while you're playing the game.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So you want to go ahead and switch over then? You think?
Sure. I will temporarily disconnect, and I'll be back in a few minutes.
Right. So yeah, he's going to reconnect through Skype since that is how we are going to. Oh man, NDI. Yeah, there's our there he is. He's back. This is just a static image. Okay. Let's go ahead and yeah, JPEG Alex, here we go. And Resident Evil. And then we are going to say 25th anniversary celebration playthrough. Jill best ending with CVX Freak. Exclamation mark giveaway. Hell yeah. All right. Yeah, hey. There is a reason for this, I assure you. I assure you.
The person whom you're trying to reach is currently unavailable. Please leave a message after the beep.
Oh, there he is. Yep.
Apologies, I had to take a quick trip to the men's room.
Oh, okay. All right.
All right.
Yeah. So I will go ahead and boot us up. Okay. So we are now going to play some Biohazard.
Biohazard.
Biohazard. One of these days I'll quit sucking.
No, you're quite good, Carcy. You just keep practicing. Took me a long time to learn how to speak Japanese too.
Well, I mean, at least they say my Japanese is good at the konbini.
Well, you know, Japan's changing too, and a lot of convenience store workers are no longer like native Japanese speakers. You know, they're people who come from other countries. So, you know, the struggle is real for everybody.
Yeah.
It's not just
Yeah. Yeah, well, CVX has been living in Japan for over 10 years now. He's like
14 to be exact.
14. Jesus Christ, has it really been that long? Oh my God.
Yeah, 2007.
All right.
It was also in the book, Carcy. What the fuck?
I thought it. I thought that's what you said, but I wasn't sure. Just.
I should have quizzed Carcy.
Oh my God.
10 questions.
So his voice
What did I
is.
say on page 11.
Is his voice still a bit low? Yeah, I haven't. Let's see if I can't. No. You're good. It would be on my end. The problem would be on my end. Oh wait, it's got to be here. Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, I'll turn it up. Okay, can you guys say something?
Biohazard.
Okay, yeah, that's better. Okay. Yeah. So let's go ahead and play some video games. So yeah, we had to reconnect CVX via Skype because this was about the only way that we could like cleanly capture his webcam was via NDI, and yeah. So we're going to be playing as we're gonna play as all obvious, we're gonna be playing as Jill Valentine. Old Jilly Bean. Hell yeah.
The most popular female Resident Evil character in Japan, and probably elsewhere, I would imagine.
Yeah. Oh, holy crap! Barry Bonbon actually just gifted like 15 subs, and I didn't even notice it before. Jesus Christ, Barry Bonbon, thank you so much.
Bola 8X, I was at Bit Summit. Wish you said hi. I can't hear you anymore, Carcy.
Oh, I wasn't talking. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, the feed was lagging.
Yeah.
All right. I'll just watch this tiny.
Victims were apparently.
Oh, are you able to?
Bravo team went to the hideout of the
Oh,
group.
okay.
Yeah. Is it
There we go.
Is it lagging on my end?
Oh no, the
okay.
Twitch stream is a little bit behind. Sorry.
Oh yeah,
I switched to
if
Skype.
if you look at it through Skype, yeah, it should be most up to date. Yeah. Oh, move your mouse. Yeah, sorry about that. There you go. And the Sphere Hunter also with 10 subs. Appreciate.
Hi,
thank you,
Susie.
Thank you so much, Susie.
It was Bravo team.
Guys, if you're not
Nobody
already
was
following the Sphere Hunter,
strange
please go
that
do
most of
so.
the
She is a very good friend of mine and Alex's.
However, we soon discovered why.
whom I miss very
sorry
much.
I couldn't do the. Hey, Susie, don't sweat it. Don't sweat it. Not at all. Thank you, Obi-Wan Kenobi, 1994, for the 5 subs.
Hey, come here.
Hey, come here.
Appreciate it, Obi-Wan Kenobi. Thank you. Yeah, no doubt. It's been pretty crazy for all involved lately. March has been wild, yo. Yeah, that severed hand. That's not in the American version.
They shot this in I believe the southwestern part of Tokyo.
Somewhere around there. We actually went by there on a train, didn't we?
Yeah.
Like at one point or another. That'd actually be.
Yep.
Should actually like shoot a video out there sometime.
Yeah, I wonder if anybody would remember where exactly it was shot. Probably Aoyama-san, maybe, or Mikami-san.
Do you think that either of them went out there?
I believe they were there. Yeah, at least one of them. At least Mikami was there.
Okay. By the way, I want to do some other shoutouts here. That happened during the reading. Slap Chop with the 8 months. Canis Renval for... Oh, wait. Canis Renval gifted 5 tier 2 subs. Holy...
Canis
Renval, I'm sorry. I
just realized I was touching Jill inappropriately without even realizing it. I will not do that for the rest of the day. Excuse me.
And this fucking rendition of the music. I got a shotgun!
Jill Valentine.
Barry Burton. Rebecca Chambers. We should try to recite the lines on stream instead of listening to the voice acting.
Biohazard.
25 years ago today, this game was released. Can't believe it.
Yeah. What are these actors up to these days? They're
all around. Most of them.
Yeah, they're all around. I mean like Alex himself. You interviewed Barry Girda for your book, didn't you?
Well, yeah, I didn't meet him directly. That was through the help of another person who handled the interview for me, actually.
Oh, okay.
Same with Lynn Harris.
Stop it. Don't open that door.
I see. But yeah, like so a lot of these a lot of the actors for Resident Evil 1 were actually in like other video games at the time. Barry Redfield.
Okay.
Yeah, Barry Girda also voiced like a minor character in Clock Tower. It's Clock Tower 1 US, Clock Tower 2
Stay
JP,
alert.
the first Clock Tower on PlayStation 1. Like he voiced a butler in that game. And
Yeah, I mean these studios are all external, so they worked with multiple game publishers.
right. And then yes, Chris's voice actor Scott McCulloch also voiced Richter Belmont in Castlevania Symphony of the Night, and he was also the narrator in the 2 Nintendo 64 Castlevania games.
See if you can find any other clues. I'll be examining this. Hope this is not Chris's blood.
Singinius, thank you so much for the tier 1. Appreciate the fuck out of that. Everyone, please raise them Poos Jams in chat and welcoming Singinius to the Poos Platoon. Thank you so much.
Emblem o torimasu ka? Should
He doesn't say
read
like
the Japanese lines.
I'll try. Emblemu o te ni ireta.
Very good.
Te ni ireta.
Te ni ireta.
Te ni ireta. That wasn't in the US version either. Like the head dropping like that.
Poor Kenneth.
I mean, you could see his like decapitated corpse in the US version, but you couldn't see like the head dropping.
Did they put that in Deadly Silence in the US version?
I don't believe so. I think the cutscenes were in color. Like they were taken from like the color cut.
Watch out! It's a monster!
Let me take care of this.
Ore ni makasero. Leave it to me. Literally.
What?
Koitsuwa!
こいつは
Kenneth was
What is
killed
this
too.
shit?
Maybe by this creature.
ケネスも殺されていたわ。きっと
Anyway,
そいつに
let's report this to Wesker.
エスカに報告しましょう。
Hoko shimashou. Okay.
Yeah, if this game had Japanese voice acting, it would have been just as bad as the English one.
It had the censored intro, but the uncensored
Wesker!
FMVs in the game.
Help me look for him, Jill. And don't leave this hall for the time being.
Yeah, we should just fucking dub all the dialogue in Japanese. It'd be pretty funny.
I'll be Jill.
Yeah.
as Susie wants me to be, apparently.
Find anything, Jill?
Doda, Jiru.
Nothing.
ダメね。
What is this all about?
まったくも
Can't figure it out at
う、
all.
なんだかわからないわ。
Beats me too.
Something something da.
Now it's Wesker's time to
エスカまで
disappear.
消える
I
なん
don't
て。
know what's going on.
Well, it can't be helped. Let's search for him separately. I'll check the dining room
Kanji.
again.
Lots and lots of kanji that I can't read.
I'll try the
じゃ
door
あ、
on the
私
opposite
は
side.
反対の部屋から調べる
This
るわ。
gigantic.
Zui
Get
Bun.
into trouble if we
Fuck,
get
it was too
lost.
fast.
We should start from the first floor, okay? And
それから、
here's
キー
the
ピックだ。
lock.
いいピックだ
It。might be handy if you, the
鍵開けの
master,
得意なお前が持ってる、持ってろよ。
Thanks. Maybe I'll
使わ
need
せて
it.
もらうわ。
Listen. If
何
something
かあっ
happens,
たら、
あった
このホル
この
で
ホールで落ち合う。something something。
this time I'll be there.
必ずだぞ。This time I'll be there is definitely a mistranslation.
What is it?
What he's
is,
saying is you must definitely do that.
must definitely do that, huh?
Like we must definitely like meet up here or something.
Kipiku, 使った。
使った。
お
Yeah.
使った。Yeah, お使った。Okay.
Resident Evil 1 is actually very good Japanese practice. And if you really want to start learning the language, I would recommend playing a game like Resident Evil. A Pokemon game is probably a very good tool.
Yeah, that's what I tell people. Like if they want to learn like basic, like hiragana and katakana, the best way to start is just by like, playing a game you're familiar with that has like some text and play it in Japanese. Like I always say either play Pokemon or Final Fantasy. Like I personally played
the earlier ones.
Yeah, to learn hiragana and katakana, I actually finished Final Fantasy VII in Japanese. Like I actually did like a challenge run
Impressive.
on that version. It was something
Wait.
like I don't know, 12 years ago or something like that. But yep.
Oh, she doesn't say
鍵
anything in
が
this one.
かかっている。
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 鍵がかかっている means the door is locked.
Right.
Literally. Should we kickstart our Japanese dub?
Hey,
That's-
what's going on?
People seem to be.
Jill? Was that you, Jill? What
Jiruka,
happened?
どうしたんだ?
Barry, help me.
バリー、助け
Door
て。
open.
ドアが開かないの。
Stay away from the door, Jill.
Uh,
I'm gonna
さ
kick
て
this
の
door.
ドアを破るぞ。
Hurry! This way!
急げ。
こっちだ。
こっちだ。I can do both characters, I guess. I'll try.
Oh, Barry.
That was too close.
危ないところだったな。
Jill,
サンドイッチが出来上がるところだったぜ。
Barry,
本
thanks
当
for saving
ね。
my life.
yeah, the line is more
But Barry,
accurately.
didn't
で
you
も
say you're
食堂を
going
調
back
べ
to
る
the
って
dining
言ってたわ
room
よ
to do
ね。
some research? Why on earth are you here?
どうしてここに
I
気
just
になる
had
ことがあ
something
っ
I
て
wanted to
な。
check. Now, let's get back to
さて、
searching for
迷子のウェ
Lost
スカー
Captain
と
and
クリ
Chris,
ス
shall
の
we?、
探索に戻るか。捜査に戻るか。
Thank you, Barry.
Yeah,
ありがとう、バリー。
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so like the more literal translation of the Jill sandwich line in Japanese is more like
You were almost made into a sandwich.
really
There was no Jill sandwich. line in there at all.
Yeah, it was just you were almost turned into a sandwich. I don't know. That's the genesis of the Jill sandwich line. Does
I feel like he's actually saying gibble. I can hear a b sound.
Yeah, he almost says
When
jibble
he's like,
sandwich.
You're almost a gibble sandwich, but it obviously sounds like Jill. So
I don't know. If he's still around, we should ask.
yeah, maybe when this pandemic's over.
Yeah, maybe you were almost a Jill sandwich. Thank you, Nazareno96 for the 4 months. Nazareno96, by the way, is the only person in existence, as far as I know, to ever clear Dino Crisis 2, no save, no damage, which is... Fuck, man, I'm pretty sure that's harder than any Resident Evil game that I've done.
Dino Crisis sucks. I'm kidding. I like Dino Crisis.
And thank you, Mr. Hagiyo, also for the 12 months. 1, 2, okay. Just gotta make sure he steps like 2 steps. Poor Jaw. And then I'm just gonna... Do I want to backpedal for this guy? Yeah, I'll just wait for him to... If you just like keep backpedaling, eventually he'll turn into the wall and you can just like dodge. It's super easy.
By the way, we have a surprise for the ending of the game. And I will probably become a meme. Buddy!
Jill,
どうだ?
any
何か
clues?
手がかりでも
No, but something's
いいえ
wrong with this
でもお
house.
かしな館ね。
Whoa. This
こ
hall
こ
is
も安全と
dangerous.
は言えんな。
Maybe it's better to secure our
とりあえ
escape
ず
route
脱
first.
出経路を
There
確保するか。
must be a back
出口
door.
が
出口があるだろう。
あるだろう?
Let's try to find it
そい
first,
つ
そいつを
shall
探すか。
探すか。
Okay.
じゃあ
Let's separate
また
again.
別れましょう。
I found something.
そうだ。
そうだ
これを
これを見つけたんだ
見つけたんだ。
何
Weapon.
ちょっとした玉だ。生き物によく効くぜ。
Better take it with you.
But
取っ
how
ときな。
about you, Barry?
でもバリーは
Have this.
こいつがあるさ。
I'll take
あり
this
が
then.
とう。悪いわね。
Yeah, I only learned a little while ago that saw at like the end of a sentence or like expression is just there to like, you know, sort of
It's
like
Americans who say like. I'm like so tired today, or that was like the coolest thing ever.
Is
I would say
it,
it's similar to that.
is it relegated? Isn't it more of like a masculine particle saw like that?
It's feminine,
Really?
but men can say it too. Yeah.
Okay. Yo, Infinity
I mean, Japanese isn't like doesn't have as much separation between feminine and masculine language as most European languages. There is some for sure. Like women rarely say ore or boku, right? Sometimes they do.
Yet
But
I
it's
think
not always.
I'm pretty sure I've heard like at least one like female character somewhere say like boku. I don't remember the context, but ore definitely not. Maybe not unless they were like impersonating someone or something. Infinity Issue, thank you so much for the 39 months. Super cool lore dump stream. Thanks guys. Hey, thank you. And thank you Dr. B Nick for the 13 months. 2, 3, and then... And Denugs, thank you for the 21 months as well. Also, men don't say ara ara, right? What is
Ara ara.
what is ara ara?
Yeah. Ara, it's like, how would you translate ara ara? It's like you're somewhat surprised at what you just heard, and it's like maybe whoa whoa, something like that maybe. Whoa whoa or ha ha.
Ara ara. Yada yada
Ara ara. I think Jill says ara ara in remake, if I remember correctly.
Oh, is that Is it something like yare yare for women? I don't know.
Yare is men, right?
Yeah. Yare
I
yare.
know
Yeah,
Leon's-
like JoJo. Yare yare daze.
Yeah, Leon says that in one of the Resident Evil movies, I think.
Ara ara. Well, I mean, I could see where ara ara could mean they're there. Are you for real, Zero Run?
I think well is probably a good translation. That
Well.
Konomi-san, Konominator-san mentioned in the chat.
Let's see. How are we doing on shotgun shells? All right. Going to make a quick detour. We gotta tackle this one. Space palm.
Are you serious, man?
Yes, I am. I am absolutely serious.
Why?
He doesn't want to.
Ara.
All right. The Keeper's Diary, but
Keeper's Diary.
holy shit, this is like impossible. It's all scrunched down and shit. Look at that. Does that look like anything like discernible to you?
Actually, to be honest, I do not know the reading for this kanji.
Oh.
So something ikuke no nishi. I don't know the first reading. May 9th, 1998, 夜、警備のスコットとエリアス、研究員のスティーブとポーカーをやった。
ステ
スティーブのやつ、I think it's やつ。スティーブのやつやったらついでやがったが、きっと貴様に違いねえ。貴様に違いねえ。俺たちをバカにしやがって。This is obviously like a bit of a slang. So
Yeah,
he
yeah,
thinks,
it's very
he thinks Steve was cheating.
Yeah, he's a kisama. Yeah, he's fucking scumbag.
Shiku Gakare no Nishi. Shiku Gakare no Nishi is the name of the file in Japanese.
Oh, okay. Shikugakari no Nishi.
Thank you, Konominator-san.
俺
Next.
たちをバカにしやがった。
バカにしやがって。
Okay.
He's like, thinks we're idiots. May 10th. 今日、研究員のお偉方から新しい化け物の世話を頼まれた。顔をひんむいたゴリラのようなやつだ。So this is the Chimera line, I guess.
Well, well, yeah, you said cow, so like the face looks like a skinned gorilla.
Cow? Cow, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. They it's like in the English version they say it looks like a skinned gorilla, but they don't specify like that it's like a part that looks like a skinned gorilla. So yeah, maybe they are talking about the Chimera. Yeah. So Siki Taesa
生きたえさがいい点で、豚を投げ込んだらやつら足をもぎ取ったり、内臓を引き出したり遊んだあげくやっと食い上がる。Just talking about how they were feeding the creatures. And this font is so blurry. 今朝5時頃。宇宙服見て、えな防護衣を、着たスコットに突然叩き起こされて、俺も宇宙服を、着せられた。He was wakened all of a sudden around 5 a.m. by Scott, who was in some kind of biohazard. What's this uchufuku? So it's like, I guess uchufuku literally means like astronaut suit, but I'm pretty sure they mean
the space suit line.
The space suit,
looks
right.
like looks like a space suit.
何でも研究所で事故があったらしい。So it looks like an incident happened in the laboratory. 研究員の連中と来たら、夜も寝ないで実験ばかりやっているからこんなことになるんだ。So they're complaining about the researchers who keep doing research even in the evening, which is what leads accidents to happen.
Those bastards in research never sleep, not even at night.
だからこの今このい々しい宇宙服をつけたままなんで、背中が蒸れちまって、妙にかゆい。イライラするんで、腹いせにあの犬どもの死を抜きにしてやった。
Yeah.
いいゲミだ。Oh, man.
すごくかゆいです。Very, very itchy.
あまりに背中がかゆいんで、医務室に行ったら背中にでっけえ絆創膏を貼られた。それからもう俺は宇宙服を、着なくていいと医者が言った。おかげで今夜はよく寝れそうだぜ。Man, you're asking me to read this. I'm so bad. 朝起きたら背中だけでなく足にも、I cannot read that kanji right now.
All right.
Help.
Mulligan. Okay, yeah, here's where it gets interesting. Like you can actually see like he's sort of forgetting his use of kanji. Yes, this groundskeeper who clearly lives in America and keeps his diary in Japanese. like he's known Japanese from birth or something. I don't know. It's like But yeah, like it's like as it goes along, you can see he's like using less and less kanji. He's starting to put like spaces in between his words. You know, it kind
right.
of just to kind of like mimic the.
It's kind of hard to read, just like the English version was. It gets harder and harder because the way something like this is written isn't very typical of the average adult's writing.
Right.
So it gets more and more screwed up. Like here, it's like oof. やっと熱引いた。もうとてもかゆい。今日腹減ったの。犬の餌。Like that's gibberish.
Hungry. Yeah, well, it's
mostly.
I think this is like the part of the diary where is like today hungry and eat doggy food. So inu no isa ku
Esa.
isa. What's
Esa is like dog food.
Like I guess kibble inu no isa. Ko. So I don't know. Maybe he just maybe as part of like his just like degradation. He's just like starting to use like onomatopoeia because he just like can't yeah ku yeah.
Well, they're supposed to sound like zombies by this point.
Yeah, it's kind of getting there. Kayui
skotto kita.
Hidoi
kao nande
koroshi
umaka desu.
This. Itchy Scott came. Ugly face, so killed him. Tasty.
So he started, eating him. Kayui uma.
Yep. Itchy, tasty. That's it. That's itchy.
Kayui uma.
That's it. That's itchy, tasty in Japanese, right there.
Well, the funny thing is, uma can also mean horse, and kayui can also mean kayu is porridge, like rice porridge.
Yeah, I guess so.
So
that
people
porridge,
make jokes.
Porridge must have been really tasty.
People make jokes about like itchy horse or horse porridge. And, yeah, word plays like that.
That's amazing. Horse porridge. Did I? Okay, I got the emblem. I just had to make sure. I was pretty sure that I did.
Well, Carsey, way to drag out the playtime.
Oh well, you know, I'll finish it. I don't know. I was just curious. Like what the Keeper's Diary was like in Japanese, that's all. Relax and Sam, thanks for the 26 months. Thank you, Dr. Junjun, also for the 5 gift subs. And yo, Matt DeRock gifted a sub to iKitKat. Appreciate it, Matt. Thank you so much. Did they ever explain why it was Moonlight Sonata for the piano?
No idea. Never asked.
I don't know. It's just,
Probably should have.
yeah, it's just Beethoven, I guess. Just iconic piano piece. A wunderkind like Jill or Rebecca would just like know how to play this.
And this game is so good, even today,
Yeah.
after 25 years.
By the way, if you guys got any more like Q&A based off of the reading of CVX Freak's book a little earlier, please by all means ask in chat. Uma means Kayui and omitted in there?
Uma means Kayui.
Hmm. Well, that's okay. You can catch the VOD, Whimsy Ghoul. But it was like it was the whole ass RE1 chapter. Has anyone in here actually had the Capcom wine? That's a good question.
I'm sorry, which one?
Like any of Kenzo Sugimoto's wine.
I've had it. Yeah, he has restaurants here in Japan. I went
Oh!
to his restaurant for Christmas one year over in Roppongi, and it's a pretty good. They serve pretty good food. Yeah, I would say their Christmas dinner was solid.
Yeah, I didn't even know he
And
like
the wine
owned a restaurant chain.
Very good.
Damn, I kind of want to try it.
Yes, Uma is a shortened form of Umai.
What happened?
Richard, どうしたの?
Kono
この館はやばい。とんでもない化け物がいるぜ。
Ouch!
You're wounded.
その傷は一体どんな化け物に?
It was a huge snake.
とてつもない
ない蛇だ。
蛇だ。
しかも毒蛇にしてた。毒しっかりして。
There is serum. Oh no.
Chi
I should have
what?
brought some with
Well,
me.
見つけた。
血清を。
No problem.
Kesse.
I'll go and get it.
That's what that's the pronunciation of those two together is Kesse
think
or is it
that's-
Chi?
I think so.
Yeah, Kesse. Yeah, you could give him CPR in the DS version. Yo, the DS version is wild.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah. Thank you, Relax and Sam, by the way, for the
it looks-
for the 26 months. Thank you, Eddie Ice, for the 3 months, and thank you, Sonny Bauer, for the 2 months. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Yeah. Here, I gotta move this keyboard into my lap, or else this old fucking poos is gonna start causing problems. All right. Yeah, no, I gotta do Resident Evil DS. No damage sometime. Was that the one where you had to blow on the microphone? Yeah.
It looks like you're kissing Richard and making out with him. Yeah.
Set the dining room clock. They actually like completely just changed out his voice actor in the DS version, even just so they could add
Yeah,
that
his
last
voice. Yeah, his voice actor. Actually, I won't mention it.
line. Oh, okay,
It's better if I didn't.
fair. 2 questions. One, was RE1 always going to have 2 characters? 2, did Capcom ever think about using an extra RAM cart for the Saturn port of RE1?
Yes and no.
Yeah, the poos is around, you
Wasn't.
know.
It wasn't really necessary for Resident Evil 1. The RAM cart, rather, on
Yeah.
Saturn.
I mean, I don't know. Like the Saturn version was weird because like they had to render that whole thing. They had to render that whole thing in quadrilaterals. I don't think that any kind of like additional RAM or anything like that would have like made the game look or run like it did on the PlayStation. Seigata Sanshiro! Sega Satan Shiro!
Such a cool guy.
Someday I will be as cool as Segata Sanshiro.
Fujioka-san, right?
Was it?
Yeah, I saw him live in person once at the Shenmue Guy press conference that they threw back in 2010. Remember that Shenmue mobile game they were supposed to make? They got
I didn't even
Segata Sanshiro
realize that was
on
a thing.
stage to talk about it, because I think Segata Sanshiro was the voice actor for Ryo's father in the Japanese version, if I remember correctly.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean,
It
I
was-
can see.
yeah,
I
it
can,
was-
I
I
can
think
see
it was
like
his father.
Yeah, I can see
Yeah,
like
it
kind of a
was-
resemblance between Iwao Hazuki and
Hmm.
Segata Sanshiro just a little bit. I don't know. Like, did one inspire the other? Like who inspired Segata Sanshiro?
It's a good question. Any Sega experts in here? I'm not really sure why they removed the background files for the
Here's the serum.
North American version,
Richard,
unfortunately.
Hold on. I'll give you a shot now.
Jill, here's my radio. You should.
I would absolutely
keep it.
100% love to watch a Shenmue video by Suzy.
No!
Not gonna
Richard!
lie.
Jill. be
Kiyotsukero yo.
Ah!
Bye, Richard.
Segata Sanshiro was birthed from a womb of Sega hype, like orcs are birthed from the earth.
You want to do a Shenmue speed run with him?
Oh God. I don't know, man. Like
That
simply
would be
simply put,
inherently untranslatable.
yeah, say like I don't know, man. Like Shenmue on its own, like you're forced to wait a lot of time. All right, so we gotta wait for Yon to sort of like fake out, and then we grab this, and this is my trick for Yon. Go over here, and you can kind of see him like at the bottom left of the screen. He's going into the wall. You can actually shoot him through the wall here. And you can see Jill like locking on whenever I like raise the gun. I'm just gonna like flatten myself onto this girder, and then when he's pathing comes through the center here, I'm gonna whoop, and there we go. Easy peasy.
It was not easy for them to program that Snakes animations in 1995.
Oh yeah. I was about to say, whose door do I need to kick down to ask about Yon? Because Yon, dude, trying to beat Yon as Chris without auto aim and not taking any hits. I'm pretty sure that's like one of, if not the hardest thing to do in this video game. All right. Gonna hug that wall there, and that zombie is just gonna, yep. But they also changed the animation of Yon in the DS, so it's like you can't use the same like dodges against him.
Yeah, they had to rebuild quite a lot of that version because it wasn't really able to be ported to DS as is.
Yeah, not really. I mean, they completely redid like pretty much all of the animations. I mean, a lot of like the logic for the enemies, like I'm pretty sure they just like took the logic for the enemies over, but like all the new enemies and like the new models, the animations, and like rigging them up. Like Yon is completely different. It's like he has the same AI, but the way that the rest of the snake's body just like moves is like weird. Are you out? You out, Suzy? All right, see you later.
Bye, Suzy.
Thanks for dropping in.
She's gonna miss the ending.
Oh. The feels when. All right. Let's see here. I think. Oh, you'll come back. All right. Yeah, we might still be here. We'll try to still be here, ish.
Shh, don't miss the ending, Susie.
Yeah.
Miss the ending.
Yeah, don't blink, you might miss the ending. Is that no, Alex does not work for Capcom. Drag the playthrough some more. Well, I don't want to I don't want to drag it too long because Alex has to get home at some point, so it was already kind of spur of the moment that, you know, that he agreed to stick around for a singular playthrough of Bio 1. More dramatic file readings? Nah, I think one was enough. Yo, what's good, Mega Drivers? How you doing? I gotta figure out what time is it over there? It's gotta be like, oh, it's like 2:11 right now.
2:11 a.m. on a Monday morning.
Yeah, okay, I can get away with just gonna walk here. Yeah, similarly to the liquors. Similarly to the liquors, you can actually like stop dogs from aggroing by just like walking. I thought cvxfreak lived in the bushes outside Capcom HQ, snooping for secrets 24/7.
Me living in Osaka? Ha! Ha 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 ha.
Yeah, snake is snake time is done. Yeah. Osaka is a fun place to visit. I'm not sure that I would like living there though. Osaka? I think Osaka is actually like probably a little cheaper than Tokyo.
Yeah. It's a great place. I'm just fake laughing because I don't know, I feel like a Tokyo person at heart. Super serious, business driven.
Question for you guys, any hint of whether Capcom has the original assets of this game? It's very doubtful. Given like Capcom's track record of like keeping a lot of their like a lot of their source code and like a lot of their original assets, like especially going on through like PS2 and whatnot. I don't think that Capcom would have archived any of that stuff.
Yeah, when they were porting to DS, they had to recreate a lot of the assets because they were no longer around. The only versions they ended up creating were for PC and Saturn. So.
Oh my god, that dog was way too close. Yo, and Daryl, thank you for the 28 months, and thank you, Mr. Silent Vid, for the 28 months as well.
If I could choose Kansai or Tokyo, Tokyo for sure. But Kansai's nice. I think Kyoto's really cool. Kobe's got great food. Osaka, it's a fun place to visit.
I was only in Kobe for a total of 1 day. I did get to try Kobe beef. Because, like, the person who was showing me around was friends with, like, a food reviewer for a newspaper. And so we just all got to eat Kobe beef on like the newspaper's dime. It was pretty great.
There's another question. Can I talk about my work on limitedrungames.com? Unfortunately, I cannot. But it's a great place to work. I think they do cool stuff.
Kobe pizza, Neo Kobe pizza, like in Snatcher. I'm not sure. I want my Neo Kobe pizza. Has CVX met Marty Friedman from Megadeth? He lives in Japan, IIRC. That'd be really interesting if so.
Who's this person?
From he's from a very famous heavy metal band, Megadeth.
Hmm.
Limited run is great. Can't wait for my copy of Scott Pilgrim. Yeah, that Scott Pilgrim is like gonna be like a full-on like complete edition. Is it gonna have like extra characters or something like that? Like
The game or the packaging?
oh, the game. Like I haven't actually played the game since it came out on like what, Xbox, right?
Scott Pilgrim was not big in Japan, so actually I didn't realize just how popular it was until Limited Run released the physical a few months ago. So
Yeah, Scott Pilgrim
definitely,
was definitely a
the-
lot more popular in the West.
I think it was the best-selling Limited Run release so far. I think the game comes out pretty soon, so hopefully.
Yeah. Did you ever see the movie?
No, yeah, that's one of the things when you live in Japan you miss out on, are things like Scott Pilgrim.
I suppose so. I think like the tsunami warning was for
A different region of Japan.
yeah, it's for pretty far up north. It's like what the it's like closer to like is it closer to Fukushima again?
Yeah, the Tohoku area.
Tohoku area. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Yeah, that's good enough. If I pushed it too many times, it actually would have impeded my mobility just a little bit. For those fine-tuned things. By the way, hey Sora, how's it going? Awesome puzzle, this one. When's the last time you actually made VJolt? Is actually my most recent playthrough, actually. Yeah, I know you've been around. I just wanted to say hey. Goof Troop puzzles in my Resident Evil? I actually still haven't played Goof Troop. Yeah, we're still no damage so far. I did not mean to skip that cutscene. Yeah, Japanese version. Easy mode. Super easy. What is retro gaming like in Japan in terms of fan base and value? It's pretty big out there, I would say. For a country that is very much about living within one's means, I'd say it's pretty popular. What's popular when it comes to games, movies, and or shows in Japan right now?
Games, Animal Crossing for sure, Ring Fit Adventure, Mario Kart, Smash, Momotaro Dentetsu was huge. Monster Hunter Rise comes out next week. Momotaro Dentetsu is a train board game like thing. It's pretty fun actually. I played it recently. Movies, Kimetsu no Yaiba, Demon Slayer came out a few months ago and broke the box office record here despite there being a pandemic. A new Evangelion movie came out as well, and I hear that's been pretty popular.
I have heard about that. New Evangelion.
Books? What was the other part of the question?
Alright, y'all, I'm off to spend the afternoon at a local Japanese tea garden, incidentally. Congrats on the book release, Alex. I can't wait to hear what the announcement is from you two. It's just memes, man. You're just gonna miss some memes.
You're gonna miss a potential meme. There's a super potato in Shibuya? I'm in Shibuya right now. I had no idea.
Is there a super potato in Shibuya?
I don't think so. Nakihabara, yeah. Jeez,
Yeah, right
man.
there. Yeah, right there. I just did the high shoto, the quick shooting glitch, where you just like keep mashing the R1 button, and if you do it at the right time, then it cancels your it cancels the recoil animation into another shot like quicker, and that's like doable.
What the hell is this?
Nanda koitsu wa?
Jill!
Ari! Jiru!
He just casually walks up, slowly aims up at the plant. My bad, Akihabara, not Shibuya. Ah, it's okay. It's okay, Zero Run.
You saved
Tasukatta
me.
wa?
Ah,
Ah.
It's close. Thanks, Barry.
危なかったわ。あ
Don't
りが
mention
とう
it.
バリ
what a monster. I
ー。
can't
臭い
believe.
な。
What
だ
the
が、
hell
なん
is
て
this
化け物
place
だ。
anyway?
一体どうなってんだ。一体 is another one of those very hard to translate phrases. What is this?
But like contextually, like what could he be referring to? Like when he says like itai.
Just what exactly is this? I'm gonna
Ah.
close the window, sorry.
Oh, sure, sure. Getting cold?
Yeah, it was like really hot earlier, but now it's pitch black, so.
Generico NJ, thank you so much for the tier 1. Everyone, please
Wesker.
raise them. Poos jams in chat. And welcoming Generico NJ to the Poos Platoon.
Jill.
Thank you so much.
So you're
Jiru,
safe.
無事だったか。
That's what I was going
それ
to
は、
それはこっちのセリフよ。
say. You disappeared from the hall all of a sudden.
Sorry.
I'm
What is-
sorry, but I have my reasons.
Uh,
You guys have met
nothing.
them.
Just-
It was all
Serifu?
I could do to protect myself against those.
It's very similar to the translation for that's what
Is
she
that
said.
right? Anyway, it's good
Oh,
to
that's
see
what I
you're
was going to
safe.
say.
Yeah, that's what she
Our
said.
first priority is to
Would be
get you
translated
out of
in
here.
kind of a similar way, I think.
Oh.
Yes, you're right.
Do they actually use that's what she
No,
said
not
jokes?
really, but if
Oh,
you
okay.
have
There
to
are a lot of
use it,
rooms
that's
in that mansion
probably
that we can't get into
how I would
because they're
translate
locked
it.
up. I
Is
have
that
been
a-
looking
is
around
that a-
for
is that a-
clues.
Is that a you and the roommate kind of thing?
I'll go to the other
Yeah.
house and see
Yeah.
if I can find any clues.
Alex
Will you do that?
Alex's
I'm counting on
Alex's former roommate Kazu, he speaks good English. Like he used to live in what was it, Canada, right?
No, the U.S.
The
San
US.
Francisco.
Yeah. And like I don't know, I guess sometimes they just kind of go back and forth. Just like switching up languages and jokes and stuff like that. It's a very, very interesting dynamic between the two of them. Hey, Celtic G, thank you for the 39 months. Oh shoot, I almost got bit. Dang. Do you ever figure out where the actors are that did the opening FMV? A YouTuber named Wang, WHANG, I guess did a sort of deep dive into that, but you know, I'm not really sure as far as like where the opening FMV actors and actresses are. So far, all anyone knows is like the just the voice actors, I guess.
What frame rate does this run in? 30?
Yeah. I think it caps out at 30. And Celtic G, thank you also for the 39 months. Hey, Carsey, happy RE anniversary. Here's to another 39 months. Here's to another 25 years. Yeah. Yeah, Wang made a deep dive. Okay, let's see here. I usually like to just go ahead and cap this guy.
You can catch a glimpse of the door that leads to Lisa Trevor's cabin in there.
Wait, that door existed in that. Like I remember
Well,
in
the idea did.
Oh. Yeah, it was like in one of the alpha versions, I think. You actually encounter Yawn in that area, don't you? Cuz like the door was missing.
Hmm.
And you're supposed to, like I think it's like at the end of one of the alpha demos, you're supposed to be able to encounter Yawn there. Like that double door is just gone. I got to take a closer look at that next time. Was Lisa supposed to be in the OG? I'm not sure.
I mean, the idea of her story was already conceptualized somewhat by the time this version of the game was being developed. I mean, it wasn't like fully fleshed out until the remake came out, but it did exist.
A 1995 alpha. Man, I gotta get a hold of that at some point. I'm gonna have to ask you for that one, Lone Noob.
Can you get poisoned if you weren't poisoned in the first battle here?
Actually, Yawn cannot poison you in this battle.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's only in the other fight that he can poison you.
It's so interesting.
Jill,
Oh, here we go.
have you found anything
珍しいものでもあるのか。
Yes, but I can't see
よく
very
見えな
well.
いんだけど。
How about going down to check by yourself?
降りてみる
I
か。
have a rope
ロープ
here.
ならあるぜ。
Oh, do you?
そう。
Well, then
そう
let's
やっ
try
て
to
み
go
よ
down
う。
やって
using
み
the
よう
boat.
かしら。
かしら。
Wait.
待ってな。
待ってな。
Wait up.
I have not been hit yet so far.
Hey, what's going
ちょっ
on?
と冗談でしょ
Now I've done it.
やっ
Sorry,
ちまっ
Jill.
た。
Wait.
すまんじる。
I'll go and get another
待ってて
rope.
くれ。すぐ別のロープを取ってくる。
Barry?
パリ
Barry?
パリ
Yeah, as long as we don't exit here. This like how they went about putting Barry on the path for the best ending here was pretty unclear, actually. I mean, like I guess like I guess you're just supposed to like wait for Barry and I guess see if he'll come back. But it's like on a timer here, and they changed the hell out of that in the remake.
Hey, are you there,
い
Jill?
るかジル。
Grab the rope.
ロープを下ろすぞ。
I'm sorry,
す
Jill.
まなかったジル。
I
ジ
didn't
ル
know。that was
どう
going
な
to
ることか
happen.
と思ったわ。
Sorry.
すま
I
ん。
was
まん
really careless.
しっかりしてた。
Are you okay, Barry?
本当に大丈
Maybe
夫
you're getting tired.
具合でも悪いん
No,
じ
I'm
ゃ
all。right.
い
Don't
や
worry.
ー心配無用だ。
Jill, I found
そう
some-
だ。これを見つけたんだ。
つけたんだ。
Thank you.
ありがとう。
I'll
ありが
take
と
this then.
う。もらっておくわ。
For this, just gotta hug to the right.
Can I vocalize Mansion Basement from the director's cut DualShock version?
Where can I find this to play it? eBay, or you could buy it on the PlayStation Network if you own a PlayStation 3, PSP, or PS Vita. That is my recommendation for how you can play this video game. Let's see. Huh. Get rid of that. Yeah, I can't really do my obnoxious voice quite as well as I used to. I think I need... Yeah, am I gonna be okay to grab any more items in there? Yeah, I think it's just... Good old Samurai Goach.
Samura Coach Sana.
Samurai Goach.
That's like a joke among composers here. Like if they like they'll joke about having a deadline, and then they'll say something like, "Oh, I gotta pull a Samura Gochi to get this done on time." Like it became synonymous with ghostwriting.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh man. They actually say that.
Yeah. I do talk about that incident in depth in the Director's Cut DualShock chapter, which is a separate chapter from the R1 chapter.
Okay.
So probably by tomorrow you'll be able to see how that all went down.
Yeah. So you heard it. So you heard it here. If you guys wanna like read about the infamous Mamoru Samuraguchi incident, type !book, hit the Unbound link right there, and back the digital version of the book. You will have it in your possession as early as tomorrow. You'll get to read all about Mamoru Samuraguchi and his ghostwriter. A very
Nigaki-san.
Nigaki, yeah.
Yeah, which is funny because Onimusha's soundtrack was great.
It actually was like
I love that one.
yeah.
So it's not like he was inherently bad. It was just I think the direction on the Director's Cut DualShock was a bit of a misfire.
Yeah, maybe. I mean,
Does
like
Mansion Basement really?
What? Yeah, the DualShock save room theme, yeah, some of the songs in the DualShock version were actually like fucking bangers, yo. Like
I like the save theme. I remember that one.
Yeah,
being really good.
the save theme, the fight with the Tyrant was also really good.
It wasn't all bad.
It could always be yeah, Where's Wesker is kind of good. But a lot of the soundtrack wound up being like very atonal, and I think that's why a lot of people didn't like it. All right. Yeah, these hunters, they always like T-pose. Oh, dude, I didn't even unlock this door here. Crap. Oh, no, I did. Oh. I gotta think about this for a moment. 'Cause I'll just unlock that, and I'm probably gonna have to come back here.
Surprisingly, no one's offended by my cover of Mansion Basement.
Gotta think about this. Is there... Okay, I'm actually going to pull out a dodge that I haven't done in a really, really long time. Fingers crossed, here we go. Because I don't have enough ammo to be able to take out this hunter here. Okay. I'm gonna get rid of this shotgun. I don't need that anymore either. Okay, I That should be fine. Do I want these acid? Nah.
Thanks to everyone who's pre-ordering or backing the book during this stream. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. Oh, I did it. Oh, sick. Okay.
And if anyone who's backed the ebook on Unbound, like if for whatever reason you didn't make the cutoff for receiving a copy, which I don't think will be the case, let me know and I can figure out a way to help you.
Could have been a little less intense on the burr in that remix.
Sorry, Cody the Dragon Rude.
Yeah, I think we offended his sensibilities there. Trumpet
The
go. Trumpet
Yog
go.
G Hart. Do we have a mutual friend? I saw Sarah a few years ago here in Tokyo, but I haven't heard from her in a while. Hope she's doing well.
Hey, yo, JS McDirty, thank you also for the 72 months, the 6 years. When dodging that hunter, remember your foil. My foil. First outside, inside, last.
Yeah, Verdi 87. There will be more physical copies on Amazon. And I guess Barnes and Noble and whatever shops are local to you will have them in stock. I think the UK gets it in April, and I think other territories get it in July, but it could be earlier. I'm not 100% sure.
Oh man, I messed up. I forgot. I was supposed to go get the...
I think he forgot one room. He got the
forgot.
tiger, the jewels, right?
No, it's the it's Spencer's study. that other that other helmet key door. But now I gotta dodge this fucking hunter. Where is he? Crap! Okay, it's fine. See, I unlocked the door, but for some reason, it's like, I unlocked the door, I didn't go through it, and I basically just, like, tricked myself into thinking that I did. My bad. Old Carcy ain't got it no more.
Well, by that standard, I never had it, so I think you're doing great.
Ah, you got it. You got it. You still got it.
Yeah, I don't even remember what the European release date of Resident Evil 1 was. It's like some random date, way too long after, only in 50 hertz.
Man.
But Europe did get spared the director's cut DualShock for a long time, if I remember correctly.
Man, the one time I played Resident Evil in 50 hertz, it was the weirdest experience. Frame pacing,
was it on the PS Classic?
PS2 actually, like PS1.
Oh.
I played the PS1 version. Frame pacing was pretty good though.
Huh. Kat says it came out in April, which wasn't too long after, relatively speaking.
But it's still, yeah, still would have ran at 50 hertz.
Europe had it rough. Like, Europe got RE3 after Japan got Code Veronica, which to me is just all sorts of screwed up. Being 2 games behind. Like... Oh, sorry. No, sorry. That was Kat was referring to my book. August 1st in the UK. Ouch. Wow. Avoiding those wanchons there.
Wanchons? Wanchan?
Wanchan is Japanese for puppy or dog.
Yeah, wanchan.
Oh, Jill.
Jirika, Itorori. いいとこ
A
ろに
moment
来た
ago, I
な。
heard someone's voice coming
奥
from
から
this
人の
hole.
声がしたんだ。
Let's go together since it's dark and we can't
だが、
see very well.
Oh, hey.
Welcome. We're in the middle of the stream.
Okay. Check this chat.
That's my friend Christine. She made me a little gift
Okay. Then I'm going
Hi
to cover
Christine,
you.
how's it
Let's
going?
hurry.
that I will
Hey, are
talk
you all
about in
right?
a little bit.
I can go first if you want me to.
How'd it go?
Okay, let's go, Barry. I'm depending on you.
Yeah,
No,
do we want to take that
I'll be
break?
back in a second, guys.
Yeah, we're gonna stop for a minute. Alex has some memes for you guys. It's pretty great. What's up, Tuopi? We'll be doing a stream for Silent Hill 2's 20th anniversary in September. I guess I could. Do you speak Japanese? Chotto. I can only speak baby Japanese. Alex is completely fluent though.
Does it really look like I need black gloves?
Is this the death? I was promised blood today. What about Ilmortem?
Yes, sir. You can continue playing. It's fine.
Oh, alright.
You can hear me.
How do you say I can
you
only
know.
speak baby Japanese and baby Japanese? Ano...
Well, I don't know if you could see from over here, but my friend made me a jacket that's meant to look like Chris's from Village.
Oh, yo, it actually came out really good.
10% of the price Capcom's charging. It's not done yet. We wanted it done for the stream, but we couldn't get it done, unfortunately. But it's kind of hard to see on the camera, but it's very much shaping up to be a very accurate replica of Chris's coat. So I cannot wait to show the final thing when Christine's done. Christine also edited my book in one of the earlier rounds, so it's thanks to her that the book's final direction finally got to take shape. So thank you, Christine.
So yeah,
I'll just wear this spot. Yeah, it's work in progress, but
Yo, that coat actually looks. Yeah, it's probably the other way around. Yo, that coat actually looks fucking sick. I'm not gonna lie. Damn,
he says it looks sick.
looks fucking awesome actually.
Oh wow, the chat is very impressed.
Yeah.
I think this was like $200 worth of material.
It was like wool yesterday.
This was like a blanket of wool just like yesterday, so thank you. This is amazing. So we finished the reading and Carsey's just playing through Resident Evil 1.
Oh, nice.
So you're gonna be here to see the ending of this stream.
Yeah. I think I'll probably be finished within like half an hour. It was just, you know.
Probably like another half hour. Have you ever seen Resident Evil 1? You should watch.
Is that Jill?
Is that voice
Jiruka.
Enrico's?
その声はエリコの I'm also
Yeah.
dubbing
You're alive.
the Japanese
Wait
dialogue.
there.
生きてたのね
Are you with anybody,
待って、
Jill?
ジル一人か。
What?
え
Oh, yes.
違うけれど。
Enrico.
Enrico.
エンリコ。
So, Barry,
Buddy
バリ
Mo-
ーも一緒か。
一緒か。
Are you all right,
大丈夫
Enrico?
なのか。
大丈夫なのか。
大丈夫なのか。
the stars are doomed.
スターズはもう
Someone
ダメ
is a
だ。
traitor.
裏切り者がいる。
Everything was plotted from the start.
はめられたんだ。アンブレラに。お アンリコ
He was Enrico. Then he got
You know about
unricoed.
Resident Evil 1 voice acting, right?
Yeah.
It's like a thing of legend.
Oh, you know what's funny? This crank here. If you don't. By the way, Alex,
Sorry?
there's an interesting bug here in the director's cut version. If you don't pick up if you don't pick up the crank, like the hex crank appears on Enrico's body in the director's cut, but if you don't pick it up, then it actually appears here as like a static object that you can't pick up until you go and pick it up from Enrico's body. It's really weird.
Oh wow, interesting.
I think I heard Carsey wrong, but if I pledge, do I get the EPUB tomorrow? Yes.
Yes, that is what I've been told. If you back it and something goes wrong, please let me know.
Ooh, that was really close. Emergency meeting.
He hasn't been damaged once yet, by the way. I jinxed it? No.
Via Twitter, Yoghart asks via Twitter. Would that be a way that he could contact you in regards to book stuff?
Yeah, just DM me or go to my website and use the contact form so I can get an email.
Can you compare and contrast your interests / fandom of other franchises with Ari growing up?
Growing up? Or it's me or you?
Oh,
sorry.
The other... I'm trying to understand the question here. Yo, NYC...
Oh, did we like anything else besides Resident Evil growing up?
Yeah, I'm not really sure if he means like Resident Evil or anything else but Resident Evil.
I was very much into Silent Hill when it first came out. I actually played that before Code Veronica. And I think that's what got me into this rabbit hole of survival horror games. Other games, I love Mario games. Mario, Pokemon, Shenmue is another game franchise that I really love.
All right, I need some serious time here for just a moment. There we go. And then...
Nice.
Yeah, let's see here. I need, 1, 2. Okay. Yeah, fucking...
This jacket feels really nice to sit down with. Usually, like, trench coats are clumsy when you sit down with them. But this...
More of a navy pea coat, though, isn't it?
It's gray. Dark gray.
Dark gray. But like that, it's like that coat, though. It's like... It's got a really nice collar to it. Man, if Christine was taking commissions, I'd ask her to make me one.
He wants one, but this is a bit of an intense...
Yeah, I know.
It's like $1,600? It's pretty expensive.
Yeah, $1,600 to just like go get one. Just straight up get one from Capcom. Alex, give us your most intimidating "Sorry, Ethan" in Japanese.
Well, what's the line in Japanese again? Is it "Gomen Isan" or is it "Suman Isan" or I don't remember. I guess it's "Sumanai Isan." Boom, 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 boom.
Why?
Crash, why? Chris, どうしたんだ? I don't remember the line in Japanese, to be honest. But...
Why?
Is Jeremy Pryor in this room, by any chance? Jeremy, if you are here, speak out. Yay? No?
Jeremy Pryor.
Well, he bought the jacket.
Summoning Jeremy Pryor.
He asked me to buy the jacket for him. So I'm actually going to receive the jacket on his behalf, and I'll be able to check it out before I send it to him.
Oh, he was here. Is he?
I don't know if he's here specifically, but yeah, I'm the one who ordered the jacket for him on the Capcom store.
Yeah. By the way, if y'all are interested in CVX Freak's book, which we read chapter 1 of at the start of the stream, please, !book in chat. Go pick it up. Physical copies are available for pre-order on Amazon. Not a sponsored post, by the way, although that is an affiliate link.
So this is the last part of the game. I have like another 15 minutes.
It's gonna be like about 20 actually, because the cutscene is like, cutscene itself is pretty long. It's a really, really, really long cutscene, and like the ending after that.
Oh, the laboratory one.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I pretty much only ever play best ending in this game. I can do best ending in my sleep. I am, however...
Someone thinks you could make a good replica of Dante's quote. Dante from Devil May Cry. Well, his quotes are like super elaborate. Yeah, I totally don't blame you.
Hesitant on ordering books off of Amazon due to getting way too many damaged covers. Will they be available in stores when released? That is a good question. I saw listings on like Barnes and Nobles and Books A Million. So is that going to be a possibility that they show up in just like in the wild at bookstores?
It's a hardcover, so would it get damaged? I mean, I guess, but I mean, it's supposed to be sold at bookstores.
Maybe. Man, I love watching Chris Redfield go through this. Like, cause all the animations, like all the hand animations, are just him like banging on the keyboard, like he's a fucking gorilla or something.
Gorisu.
Gorisu, yeah.
The portmanteau of Chris and Gorilla.
Gorisu is something pretty special.
Because he looks. Oh, well, in English they call him Roidfield, because he has so like extremely large muscles. But the Japanese call him a Gorisu, so calling him like a gorilla.
Gorisu.
I love Jill's hand animations in this computer.
Yeah, it's just the fucking finger gun. But yeah, like whenever Chris
hunting and pecking.
Yeah, like just the hunting and pecking is like JOHN enter. And then like when he gets it, he's like bang, yeah. I always called him Roidfield in RA5. I mean, it is a very apt name for him. Anytime I successfully remember a password, I do the finger gun, not gonna lie. Would not let Chris borrow my PC. Yeah, no, Chris is gonna owe me a new fucking keyboard after all that shit. Ah, door. What is that zombie doing? Yeah, he was really happy to have cracked that code.
We're almost at the end.
Yeah, just a couple more areas. Hey, Alabaster, thank you so much for the 6 months. Are you winning, son? I'm, kinda sorta winning. Chris returned to Monk at 12 years before the meme. But yeah, pausing and unpausing like that causes Jill to just like sort of return to a neutral stance. Like, watch this. Aiming, pause, unpause, and now Jill's just like standing. So you're able to just like cancel your recoil that way.
I did not know that.
Yeah, you can pause like just about anywhere. The only exception is if you're getting like actively damaged. you can't like pause and unpause. All right, this one we got to take a hard right. There we go.
Is it pronounced chimera or chimera?
I think it's Chimera.
Chimera, okay. Because in Japanese it's chimera.
Yeah,
So I wasn't
Chimera
sure.
in Japanese, but Chimera in
English.
English as borrowed from, I believe, Greek.
When I was a kid, I used to pronounce all the Resident Evil names wrong. Like, I used to call them chimeras
Chimeras, yeah.
when I was like 13.
In Greek, it's Chimera, is it?
Is it chimera? Canis?
Kai.
Is that C-H-I, she as in Chicago, or chi as in... This is why English is a terrible language. Chimera. Chimera.
Chimera.
Chimera. Ah. Not chimera.
Originally, it's Chimera, but it's like Caesar. Some say Kaiser, some Caesar. Pizza, pizza. Sorry.
Pizza. Pizza. Is that still used in the States?
Jill,
I don't think so.
You're here,
I think it's been a while since they had. Well, yeah, actually they do. They don't like do like skits with him anymore, but they have like, you know, the little Caesar dude doing like the voice clip. He's like pizza, pizza. So that's like still on TV sometimes.
Now I'm feeling a bit homesick.
Yes,
it is possible to miss America when you live in Japan.
Wesker,
I'll see if I
fine
can't bring
job,
some Little
Barry.
Caesars.
just
Some
No, don't bring
24
Little Caesars. Get a layover in
stay away
California
from
and bring me
Barry,
some
Jill.
In-N-Out.
I hear
Oh,
that
okay.
his
Oh,
wife
there's a
and
cutscene.
2 daughters will
I'll
be
see
in
if
danger if
I'll
he doesn't do everything I
we'll figure
tell
out how to
him.
warm it back up.
you are so cruel.
汚いわね。
Well, you don't have to worry about anything.
気にすることはない。
You'll be free from
じきに
this
この
world
生
very
と
soon,
このヨッ
Jill.
トもおさらばさ。
To destroy
なぜ
stars.
スターズ、
That's Umbrella's
破滅
intention.
を
This laboratory
ア
has
ンブレ
been
ラの、
engaging in dangerous
この研究所は
experiments.
この救助は
Recently,
そ
has
の
occurred.
like, it's too late in the evening. I can't read. Ugh.
That's why having stars knows
なんと
about
か
is
嗅ぎ
so
回るスターズは
convenient.
都合が悪かった。まるでアンブレラの
These virus monsters.
I think you
Never
misunderstand
mind.
me, Jill. To me, the monsters you mention mean nothing.
This
I'm
is
going to burn all
this
of
is
them
this is
together
this is
with
that this is that part of the
entire
evening
laboratory.
where all the fucking
I must
kanji characters
complete my
blur
mission,
together,
as ordered by
and all
Umbrella.
Alex wants to do is
Barry,
sleep.
Go up on the ground and wait there.
I'm holding out for the ending.
Barry,
Buddy.
What time is it in Japan anyway? It's almost
He'll
3
be under
a.m.
control of Umbrella forever.
どこまでもアンブレラ
how
に
come both
見える。
Umbrella and you can intimidate
I've like
him
slowed
by taking
down.
his family as hostages?
Umbrella.
Umbrella's Dore
Well,
slave.
I intimidated him.
Dore,
Nothing to do
Dore,
with Umbrella. I just used him for my
Dore
personal
slave.
purposes. Though both you and Barry
What?
seem to think I was
I used to
following
say
orders
that to
from Umbrella.
Kazu as
So
a
you're
joke.
planning
What
something else?
is Dore?
If you
I used to
succeeded
call
in
Dore
developing
means
the world's
slave.
most powerful
Oh.
biological weapon, what would you do?
いい奴隷や
You
ね。
were in charge.
Because like when he does me a favor.
You must stop this now.
You're a brave girl. But if I were you, I wouldn't give up such a big discovery. You guys are idiots. No
ど
one
うかしてる。
understands its real value.
誰も分かってないんだ。
So you're going to steal all the research?
横取りする気ね。
Better yet, I'm going to show
見
you
せてやろう。
the
タイラントだ。
Barry,
バリー
Sorry, Jill.
すまなか
すまなか
っ
っ
how's
た。
your family?
た。
あなたの家族は
I was listening to what you
話
and
は聞いて
Wesker
い
were
た。
talking about.
すぐに気づいてた。
I wish I realized
すぐに気
it
づいていれば
earlier.
な
I thought。it must have something to do
Umbrella
with Umbrella.
ぐるみ
アンブレラぐるみだとばかり。
So it's all
こいつが
masterminded
眼鏡だとは
by him.
な。
It's good that you know that
でもよ
now.
かった。とにかく脱出、
Let's get
脱
out of
出
this
よ。
house first.
Jill,
Dashitsuyo?
Yes,
ジ
what?
ル、何
do you have any
Wesker wa
idea
ウェス
nani
カ
o
ーは何を見せようとしてたんだ
back of this place?
Well, he was talking
最
about the
強の
world's most
生物兵器
powerful
がなんとかって
biological weapon.
タイラント
Called
だったか
Tyrant
し
or
ら
something. I think.
Seibutsu what now?
兵器、
think we
生物
Seibutsu
兵器、
Heiki,
そい
right,
つ
that
を
was it.
確かめてやろうぜ。生物兵器 is
Mary, you're
BOW.
so
Right,
Bioorganic
BOW.
weapon.
That's what they call it,
It would look
Seibutsu
bad
Heiki.
for stars if we let such a dangerous creature run loose.
そん
Maybe you're right. Let's go then.
そうね、行きましょう。
They're just so optimistic, ready to kill the tyrant.
Final boss. Tyrant.
Seibutsu Heiki.
Can a creature like
Saikyo-
this really
Saikyo
be
no
the ultimate
Seibutsu Heiki?
biological weapon?
The strongest bioorganic weapon.
Would it be? Would that read? Would that read Psycho or?
Saikyo.
Tyrant is
It does
not
read Psycho.
to be
Okay.
developed.
まだ安全じゃないよね。
Psycho no
We can't
Seibutsu
let it
Heiki.
live.
だが、生かすわけにはいかん。
That must be the computer.
あれでモニターしてるんだろう。
One of these days, I'm going to learn how to read Japanese as good as Alex.
As you can see, I still have a ways to go. You'll get there though, Carcy.
One of these days. One of these fucking days.
Damn you!
Chickshaw!
Chickshaw! Cheek show. It sounds like chick show, like a show of
Control what
chicks.
it does.
やるしかないわね。
Takes 3 grenade rounds in Japanese version.
Barry? Barry?
Buddy, buddy.
You're alive.
よかった。無事だったのね。Oh.
I'm really embarrassed. I was
面
clumsy.
目ない。ん How do you read that? 重めない。重めない。Sorry. さあ、行きましょうか。
Chickshaw, the next movie from Paul Verhoeven.
Verhoeven? Who's Paul Verhoeven?
Verhoeven?
What happened to Wesker?
Wesker. Okay. すべてのロックを解除します。やつの仕業か。急ごう。 The self-destruct system. Actually, I don't want to spoil Zack Snyder's Justice League. But I thought there was a Resident Evil reference in there.
I've learned so far that no matter how advanced you are in Japanese, you're never 100% there. Damn.
Menmoku's the reading? Wow.
Menmoku is... Oh, okay. Yeah,
It's
so
easy
here's...
to forget Japanese words too.
Man, how do I do this again? I think it's... Ah, right.
I've died in this room before.
Yeah, it is really easy to die in this room. But it's actually different between the between Director's Cut and Director's Cut DualShock. You actually die like instantaneously in Director's Cut DualShock because it like does direct damage to your health as instead of like in the other versions of the game it's based off of like a countdown timer based on how much health you have, I think. So you're able to just like power through the room in the original game and Director's Cut while the gas is still on. But if you like if you like go through the hole in Director's Cut DualShock, then you just fucking die.
Brutal.
Yeah, it actually
I wonder
made for a pretty good Carcy stream moment number 37. A lot of my earlier viewers remember that one.
I'm trying to remember who came up with this puzzle. I think it was Kato-san, the director of Code Veronica, because he's the one who came up with all the booby traps that actually.
Yeah, it actually would make sense that Kato-san came up with this one, actually.
So if you ever wondered why Code Veronica can be unforgiving at times, you have him to thank.
Man, I can't wait to meet Kato-san, actually.
Yeah, someday. I think doing a Code Veronica stream would be interesting.
Oh, the Crystal Cannonball. Jeez, F that, dude.
Yeah, that's Kato-san. Crystal Cannonball, Steve boss fight, Nosferatu poison.
Oh, what?
Tyrant throwing you off the airplane. What else is in there? Getting stun locked by the hunters. I don't think that was his deliberate choice. Excuse me.
If puzzles are not confusing, they are boring. Also, the last RE game that Sugimura would help make.
I think that would have been Gun Survivor 4 or Dead Aim.
Did he write the scenario for that one? That came out after Zero, didn't it? I think it did.
Yeah. I think he was also involved in Haunting Ground. Well, that wasn't Resident Evil. No. Yeah.
Yeah, actually.
Oh, Jill!
I'd say Dead Aim was the last one he worked on.
Was it Clock Tower 3 or Haunting Ground was the last one he worked on? Because I'm pretty sure Sugimura worked on.
Haunting Ground.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it later.
Didn't Sugimura work on Clock Tower 3?
Yeah, but that was much earlier.
Oh.
Oh, I didn't get to act the C now. Boo. Almost at the end of the game.
A stream with you guys and the director of one of the recent games would be cool. Well, it'd be a little tough to swing, but
maybe.
Yeah, no. I think Yasuhiro Anpo would be a very, very interesting person to.
I would love to do one with Nakanishi-san, the RE7 director.
Nakanishi-san.
That would be interesting, or Revelations 1 even.
Yeah. No, I would love to do RE7 actually. Yeah, these guys are just gonna puke. I can just hug the wall. It's okay. Yeah. Koshi Nakanishi. Koshi Nakanishi.
Let's go.
Sa, iko.
Yeah, like Yasuhiro Anpo, Koshi Nakanishi, and Funamizu.
Hurry.
Noritaka Funamizu. Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are like the big three that I would like to do someday.
Do an outbreak run with
Yeah.
Funamizu-san.
I would love to play. I would love to play Outbreak with Funamizu-san. But yeah, Yasuhiro Anpo directed Revelations
RE5.
2. Yeah, RE5, Revelations 2, and
RE2 remake.
And RE2 remake. Yeah, Yasuhiro Anpo was there. Like if you're paying attention, like he's been like in the credits roll since like the very beginning of Resident Evil.
Yeah, he was quoted in my book in the chapter I read earlier.
Yeah. Kazunori Kadoi, Resident Evil 2 director, directed Flashback and End of the Road and Outbreak File 2. Really?
Ladies first. Go first, Jill.
Lady first. Da.
Give me a chance to play nice guy.
Book? Yeah. cvxfreak wrote a book on the development history of Resident Evil City. And he read an excerpt from it earlier, like a whole ass chapter actually. They become the director of a badass video game. That sounds like a Kamiya kind of story. No, it's
Well, you
it's
can make your own game now.
it's the same person, Sonny Bauer. Sometimes Anpo and Ampo are like
Oh, it's yeah.
it's
Either one is fine.
Yeah, either one is fine. It's a weird Japanese pronunciation thing. I mean, typically, you know, the only like time that a syllable ends in a consonant is usually like an N, but you know, in order for like, you know, it's like in order for it to bridge together, sometimes it flows better to just like add a sort of sound instead of like an N sound. So like Yasuhiro
Yeah.
Anpo, Yasuhiro Ampo. So, you know, it could either or.
If an n sound is followed by a p sound, like po, pa,
Yeah,
pi, pu,
or
pe,
bowl.
po,
Yep. Yeah, or bowl, like in the
then
case of like Namba
people,
Station in
yeah,
Osaka.
people are more inclined to turn that n sound into an sound. Ampo sounds easier to say than anpo.
Let's see if I can.
That's why there's variance in the spelling in English.
All right, so I'm gonna use some of these Strata rocks.
Endings coming up.
Here we go.
Oh my god, the ending.
M and P are both.
You better kick his ass,
Bill.
Carsey. Carsey, if you get hit, I'm not doing this ending.
Oh god. Yeah, I didn't save actually, but it's okay. I know what I'm doing.
I don't think you'll die. I just don't want you to get hit.
Yeah.
You're our Amazon, Jill. Whatever the hell that line means.
Stay medium length. Okay, there it goes. Whoa, that was close. Scary,
Wow.
actually. Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay. Uh-oh. Damn. Sorry. Sumanakata.
Sumanai. Sumimasen, minasan.
Yeah, well, it's a matter of time.
He got hit.
Shit. Oh, shit. Yeah, that one's actually pretty brutal. Like that one, you're supposed to like let him run in a circle around you. Oh, here he goes.
Tell me you brought a healing item. No! Oh, I thought you died.
I don't need one. We just gotta let it time out to 30 seconds, or get him out of the center actually, because that's the trigger. Both Jill and the Tyrant have to be out of the center by like a certain amount of time. I've won. Yeah, it's been a while since I've like tried to do this without shooting the Tyrant.
You did.
Hey, can you float me
Oh,
those?
the stream was behind. I was watching the stream.
Yeah, can you float me those whatskis over Discord, please?
Are you gonna sing this ending theme too? Really?
I'm gonna try.
It's not a duet. I can do it.
Okay, all right. If you want to do it, go for it.
All right.
Actually, yeah,
this is gonna be the most embarrassing thing I will do in my entire life, but I am going to sing Yime de Owarasenai.
Yeah, this is
while the ending is playing. I think the lyrics are a little different in this line, but apologies for the infringement that's about to take place.
It's okay. It doesn't hit Content ID on Twitch. It's cool.
Da na 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 na. You can actually select the song in karaoke.
Oh, really?
Sometimes, not all places have it, but some do.
Wait, are you serious?
Yeah, I've sung it before.
Not at the place
We
that
haven't
we
been
went
to
to.
karaoke in a year. Yeah, it wasn't there. I was looking for it.
Oh God.
All right, I better turn the volume up and just sing.
Here it
the
is.
Night away. Oh God, I'm nervous. Don't laugh at me, people. Kunote nobashitatte sono namida 拭えないよきっと迎えに行くから微笑みは絶やさないで約束は熱く強く戸惑い断ち切って人の波に君が霞んでも振り返らないよ目を閉じればいつだってすぐそばで見つめてるじゃない夢で終わらせないちっぽけな願いでも風をナビにしてレールの上歩いて行こう
Oh yeah. Whoa.
Whoa.
Oh yeah.
夢じゃ終われない向こうに君がいるさよならを超えてまた抱きしめたいのさ夢じゃ終われないその向こうに君がいるさよならを超えてまた抱きしめたいのさ Oh, I was singing the wrong verse.
Yeah, it's the yeah, I think
Because there's a full version
yeah.
and there's the ending version, and I had the lyrics for the ending version. So yeah, that was my embarrassing moment of the night.
Can I get your cover on vinyl?